Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Saturday, December 14th, 2024, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Navy Midshipmen versus the number 22 Army Black Knights. This one is going down. It's the best combined record of all time between these two teams. 8-3 Navy versus 11-1 Army. We know these teams love to be able to run the football, and obviously as we're transitioning into the college football playoff as well as the bowl games, this is one of the last kind of regular games as it leads you into the college football playoff and those bowl games. So that is why we are here today, as well as these two teams having great records: 8-3 Navy, 11-1 Army. Army is heavily favored, but again, you never know in this particular matchup. In the last 10 years, we've only had one blowout. So again, most of the games end up being pretty close. Typically the loser scores 17 or less. Is this going to be the first time that in a while where we maybe get both teams over 20? I can't wait to be able to see what we get here today. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. We got NFL obviously tomorrow and a packed slate. Obviously, we got the Bills and the Lions tomorrow, one of the best games of the year. Steelers and Eagles. And then I will be live streaming the Packers visiting Seattle. And depending on how I feel with Paisley, I might end up doing that Bills and Lions game in the afternoon. That one's going to be possibly a Super Bowl preview. And anytime you can get teams that have records like that late in the year in December, it's must-see TV. I will be watching, but I don't really know yet if I'm going to be streaming two games tomorrow or just one. But as we get into the matchup here today with the Navy Midshipmen and the Army Black Knights, let's settle in and kind of enjoy this last kind of run of college football. And I feel college football has been better than the NFL overall this year. And again, I am a little sad to see it come to an end. But again, soak it in, because again, after we get all of these bowl games over with, it's going to be a long 5 or 6 months, just like when the NFL ends, where we're waiting for that football to come back. Cool Kid in the building. What's good? Matt in the building. What's good? Zini ended up messaging me earlier here and ended up sending some support for the holidays. $30 dono to get us started off on a good note. She is not in the building, I don't think, at the moment, but she may stop in if she has some time. $30 dono, stacks on stacks, racks on racks, a little Cactus Jack bang bang. We're going to be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour and a half. 30 to 50 overall if we get volume, and obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. We're off to a good start. $30 before the stream even started, and I'm ready. Let's go, baby. Yeah, if you want to be able to hold that down, yes, you can definitely do that. And if anyone else comes in and wants to help out with that as well, helping out with the donos and keeping track of the likes on the stream also, those would be the two things that I would need help with. So if you can help with that, that would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, crazy, right? 314.4 yards. But, as we know, that's what they do. A lot of these military teams, especially Army and Navy, they typically just run the ball. Army, Navy, they will sprinkle in a little bit of the pass, more than Army, but still, like you mentioned here, obviously on the stat line, one runs the ball 99% of the time. The other team runs the ball probably about 95% of the time. And then you're going to end up getting a little bit of passing here and there. And it may come down to a long, kind of Hail Mary type of throw just to try to get PI or to be able to get the ball down the field. It's not like they don't have any running backs or receivers that can't catch, but this is just kind of the way the flow of the game goes for these two teams, Army versus Navy, and a lot on the line. And it's typically not often that we have a military team of Army, Navy, or Air Force that has a good record. And this is the best combined record that these two teams have had. So pretty cool to be able to see this particular matchup, as I was kind of wondering, what do we do? Yesterday there really wasn't anything going on. And I don't really like taking 2 or 3 days off during the week, but I can't wait to be able to see what we get here. Number 19, Army and Navy have combined for 19 victories, their most ever entering their annual matchup. They've never had, 19 wins total between Navy and Army combined, and we get that here today. So I can't wait to be able to see college football odds right now. Army is by 6.5. Series record overall, Navy leads 62 wins, 55 losses, 7 ties. And obviously, what's at stake? It's the game of the year for both programs. That's always the case. And this season, there's a little bit more national significance. Now, Army is coming off a victory in the American Athletic Conference title game and is the AP top 25. We've never seen that in a long, long time. Now, Navy was ranked earlier in the year, if you remembered, and they have combined for 19 victories, their most ever entering this matchup. Now, in the last 12 meetings, the losing team has failed to score more than 17, like I mentioned earlier. These are two teams that are familiar with each other, well prepared, meaning the game can be decided by a few high leverage plays, fourth down plays, third down conversions, as well as red zone efficiency. In particular, it could be very crucial in this game. Players to watch: Navy safety Ryan Lane III forced 3 fumbles this season and was picked as a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. If Navy's 8 wins, the Midshipmen have outscored opponents 94-7 in points off turnovers. In the 3 losses, they were outscored 48-0 off turnovers. So that could be a big, significant difference in this game. And then Army quarterback Bryson Daly, 29 rushing touchdowns this season. The FBS record for a quarterback is held by a Navy player, coincidentally. Keenan Reynolds ran for 31 tutties in 2013. So if Daly gets 3 tutties here today, he not only breaks that record, but he breaks the record held by a Navy rival player. So for the first time ever since 2017, both teams enter this game with a chance to secure the Commander-in-Chief trophy with a victory. Army has a 2-game winning streak in the series. The Midshipmen haven't had a game this season decided fewer than 12 points. Now, Army has been in the top 25 for 9 consecutive weeks, as longest stretch since the team was ranked each week since, check this out, 1958. So what we're seeing here out of Army is not a typical season. This is one of the 2 best seasons they've had since 1958. So that's another reason why I'm here. I love college football. You know, normally Army and Navy is a game that I'll watch, but I won't stream. But this one is the best one we've ever had. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to see what we can get. Hopefully we can get both teams scoring 20 plus, even though we might get one team in the 20s and 30s and another, with 20 or less. But can't wait to be able to see what we get in this one. And again, the main name to watch will be Bryson Daly for Army. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. He's hard to bring down, kind of like a Tim Tebow. So we'll see what we get here tonight. And again, hopefully we end up getting an entertaining matchup for our single stream here this Saturday afternoon. Cole in the building, what's good? Megan in the building, what's good? Matt in the building, Cool Kid in the building. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And again, that's just a little bit of a preview and a breakdown in these matchups. I ended up watching Wembanyama and Klingon coming back for the Blazers. And of course, we ended up having a big lead. And what happens? The Spurs go on like a 20-4 run in the 4th quarter, and then we lose right there at the end. But again, good to be able to see Klingon back. But again, same thing with the Blazers. When you have certain teams that we know, I can only count on them so much. But I'm glad we are here today for some college football. And then obviously tomorrow, we are going to be able to get into some good games. I'll be streaming the Packers and the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. I will be watching the Steelers and the Eagles. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly in a billion years. And the main one will be the Bills visiting the Lions at 1 o'clock, 1:25 Pacific. So I might end up doing that stream and the Packers and the Seahawks, or I might just end up watching the Lions, taking on the Bills as well as the Steelers and Eagles and just soaking it in, and then streaming the Packers as well as the Seahawks later tomorrow evening. Can't wait for that one. So all right, my dad just sent me a message there. Let's go, baby. Let me get settled in here, get all the volume. And it took forever to get this thumbnail going because I don't have any images, from Army or Navy all season. And I will be doing some, obviously college football bowl games and the college football playoff. So I wanted to be able to use the uniforms that they're using today, which they've switched up. And every year it's a little bit different. And if you look at Navy's uniforms, they kind of have a Tampa Bay Buccaneer feel with the logo on the helmet on the side. Kind of gives you that type of feel of like a Buccaneers or a Raiders in the NFL. And then obviously Army going with the standard black. But again, with the uniforms, you never really know what you're going to get year in and year out. But I'm happy that after a lot of struggling, this one actually turned out pretty good with me getting crunched down to literally within about a minute before the game started. I was able to get ready. But I hope you guys like it. Looks like it turned out pretty good. And hopefully we end up getting a good matchup here. And hopefully you guys can settle in and hang out with me here for the next 3.5 hours. And then we got some great NFL action tomorrow. And then Monday Night Football, we'll be doing that. And then once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be getting into college football games. So even though we've had a few days off this last week, we're going to be full gear. And we're going to be grinding it out. We got Navy and Army here today. And then obviously as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after Monday Night Football, we got number 25 Memphis versus West Virginia on Tuesday night. Then we're going to do California and UNLV, which we saw UNLV kind of get beat up by Boise State, obviously a few days back when we did that. But we'll do California, UNLV, and the Art of Sport LA Bowl on Wednesday. Obviously, we have Thursday Night Football. And then Friday, it really kicks off. Number 10, Indiana versus number 7, Notre Dame for the college football playoff. And then as we transition into Saturday, SMU, Penn State at 9, Clemson, Texas at 1, and then Tennessee, Ohio State at 5. And I'll be doing that one as well. So let's go. I am ready. Yeah, but things were all kind of getting crazy for me this morning. I had to go on a long walk with Paisley. Some of my lighting was kind of malfunctioning a little bit with some of the wires. Then trying to be able to get this thumbnail all created and looking good, up to the NWSF standard before kickoff. And luckily, I'm here just in time. Let's go. Good energy, obviously, from the people there in the crowd, Army, Navy, and there's going to be, obviously, musicians there. There's going to be politicians there. There's going to be a little bit of everything in this game. Obviously, former coaches on the high school, college, and NFL side. You may end up taking a peek, and we'll end up seeing in the crowd what we end up getting here today. Let's go, baby. We're at 30, 70 to go. Kind of sad that we're kind of getting kind of towards the end of the college football season, but it's been a hell of a season, but we aren't done yet. And obviously for me and Matt, we're trying to win it all, put our head down and get this done and trying to win the Natty. And, if Oregon ends up, getting past Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia and wins it all, if that's what ends up happening, we got a very favorable schedule going into next year where they could end up going undefeated again. But again, the schedule a little bit softer. Only Indiana as well as at Penn State will be the big game of the year next year for the Ducks, but we'll have to wait and see. And here we go. Army with the kickoff, and let's see if Navy can get on the board out of the gates. Let's go. Blake Horvath, 1,000+ passing yards, 850+ rushing yards, one of 4 quarterbacks in the nation to have that designation. So again, we know that this Navy's going to be a little bit more well-rounded. Army is really one of the only teams that's just going to run, 99.9% of the time. Navy will run a lot, but they will sprinkle in the pass a little bit more than Army. So we'll see what defenses are disciplined here. And obviously we got a shift here at the line of scrimmage. Now they shift over to trips left. First down and 10. And Horvath, obviously a keeper, and that's going to be something that we're going to see from both teams here today. Second down, minimal gain there on first down after all of the shifting. STL in the building, what's good? Second down and 5 for Navy. A little short gain. I got a logo I was going to put up here. 1 sec. I had it, and I thought I had it already in the bucket, but there we go. Got to get that little Army Navy logo there in the corner. Nice, man. Keep grinding away. I'm proud of you, man. Like I said, sometimes, job searches can be difficult, but if you can find something during the holidays where you're going to get paid and, get that money, nice little handoff. First down, Navy. Move the chains. And Army has been very, very disciplined this season, but obviously the strong suits for these teams, is typically going to be on the offense. There'll be a little bit of give on the defense, but again, it all really depends on how much rushing we get in this game, and I'd assume it's going to be 95%, 99%, somewhere in that range. It's either going to be the quarterback, the running backs, very few, passing plays, definitely for Army, a few more for Navy, but should be a grinded out type of game. Drew Chronic, offensive coordinator. Second down and 8. Horvath pass incomplete to Kent. He said, let me go long, let me go deep, 1-on-3, but you just can't throw it up like a 500 ball in the backyard with your friends. And that's why it shows you that these teams don't throw that often. Can they throw? Yes, they can throw, but obviously if that's going to be one of your first throws and you're going to go for just like a throw it up there a million miles up in the air and you got 3 secondary members there for Army, converging in, you're not going to complete a pass all day if those are the throws that we get. Come on, Horvath, have some touch out there. Third down and 8. Sarah in the building. What's good? Nice little slip screen there. There we go. Blockers downfield. Rumbling and a bumbling. First down, Navy. Wow. Okay. And they are playing in Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland is where the game is being played here today. Nice screen pass. I mean, yeah, if you can't throw deep with accuracy with Horvath, fuck it, right? Might as well just throw a screen, use their blockers downfield. They've already proven that they can block for the running backs and the quarterbacks all year, Navy and Army. But a nice opportunity there to kind of get Army on their heels. And let's see if Navy can continue this offensive juggernaut that we're being able to see here so far. That makes sense, If you can't really have a lot of accuracy on the deep balls, just go with the short intermediate stuff. Bubble screens, slip screens, and again, we're going to get a lot of running out of both quarterbacks here today, as well as the running backs. And obviously, Navy trying to confuse Army's defense here with a lot of shifting. Audibles at the line. Handoff up the middle. Decent gain there of a couple. Yeah, I would say that 99% of teams are incredibly impatient unless you end up having a running back that's what they're known for. Just kind of waiting for the blockers to get ahead of them instead of trying to get ahead of the blockers. And the ones that end up having that kind of recognition, end up being some of the best. Like we used to see Todd Gurley, right? We saw how great he was. And in the NFL in modern day, in the last 20 years, he might have been the best one in the NFL of, waiting for his offensive line and his receivers and tight ends to be able to block for him to get more yards. Design keeper, first down, Navy, Horvath, move the chains. Let's go. Hell yeah, brother. Keep it going. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get into the algorithm. We know it's not a main top tier college football playoff game, but at least it's something to hold us over on this Saturday. 3 more likes to be able to get to 10. Let's get there. Handoff, right up the gut. Nick's run for 2 yards. 2nd down and 8, but they are threatening. Yeah, that was a little surprising in the Devin Williams, and then nasty Nestor Cortez ends up moving on. So, and that was one of the key components for the Yankees. But I assume that obviously losing Soto, they have to kind of reconfigure this roster and whatnot. But I think it'll end up being a good move for both teams, Brewers as well as Yankees. 2nd down and 8, as well as Belichick getting that North Carolina job. Pretty wild. Oh, look at the reverse. Look at the reverse. 2nd and 8. Oh, good defense there by Army. They were not fooled. That could have been something if you had better blocking there. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell, I would say probably he was right there, with Todd Gurley. Those were probably the 2 most patient backs that we've seen, in the last 15 to 20 years. So I would definitely agree with you with that. Those are definitely the 2 most patient backs. And coincidentally, those were the 2 best backs in the NFL for like a 2 to 3 year stretch. But it's kind of crazy how you could be the best in the world and then in a matter of 2 to 3 years kind of fall off, the face of the earth and, either be a backup, get injured, or not even be in the league anymore. Pretty wild. But when they both were playing, Le'Veon Bell, and that's when they actually had something cooking there, right? With Fly Like a Butterfly, Sting Like AB with Antonio Brown, pre-CTE, right? And actually having a pretty decent roster. Kind of wild with Roethlisberger, AB, Le'Veon Bell. You would think that they would have been able to get to a Super Bowl with that kind of team, but the defense really wasn't the same, as the offense at that particular time. And we know with Todd Gurley, injuries to those legs and knees were the killer for him. And, they had a couple of magical matchups, back in the day, but, it seems like we don't really get too many of those really patient running backs. Obviously with this season, Genty seems like he's got that patience, with his running game. He doesn't have to really go downhill on every single play. He's got good vision, good speed. But again, whenever you would watch like Le'Veon Bell or Todd Gurley, it's almost like they would just stop. They would get the handoff and they would just wait and they would just kind of patiently just sit there, almost not even move or take like a step or 2 and just kind of look and then wait for the blockers to, kind of catch up to his idea of what hole he wanted to go in. And then he would explode and hit the hole. And then the rest is history. So. Well, I think with North Carolina, they'll be better. Again, it's not like we feel they're going to be the number 1 team in college football, but with a Belichick there, that'll help. That'll actually get some of the recruits, to be able to consider like 2026 quarterback 1, coming in is going to have a meeting. It may not end up lead to, a signing for the number 1 quarterback in 2026 to land with UNC. But again, you never know. Again, with Belichick, that kind of discipline, it's more for NFL players. I don't really know how, high school players and college players are going to kind of react to his type of coaching. Some people will definitely quit and transfer, but there will be some people that will grind it out. And it wouldn't surprise me in a couple years if he's able to recruit well and not get fired. We might be able to see, a decent, 10-2 or a 9-3, 8-4 kind of type of squad. I don't think anyone expects them to win the Natty or anything like that, but it can't get any worse than what it's been for North Carolina, right? 3rd down and 6. See what happens here. Touchdown, Navy. Horvath, he shows you, hey, I can run it. Design run. You think it's going to be a pass? I'm going to dive in for that touchdown. Let's get it. Wow. And again, Army is heavily favored, but Navy has a quarterback that can run just as good as Army. So again, Horvath is going to have to be a monster here today. And again, we'll see if this ends up counting or if they end up putting them down, roughly. Yeah, I'd say it's still going to be first and goal because they're past the marker. But did he get in, though? And what about that other elbow? Looks like they might have been short. But again, they can end up getting a touchdown on the next play. You can just run a QB sneak or some kind of design run for Horvath, and we'll end up getting the tutty either here or on the next play. But good start, considering these teams like to run. And I know some people think, this is going to be a boring game. It's just going to be running. But if we end up getting 17 points or more out of both, it could end up being pretty interesting. So, and again, this is the best combined record that both teams have had like ever. So again, we've never really seen teams with Navy and Army with an 8-3 record, Navy, and then Army 11-1. Coming off obviously their conference win. So this is definitely not a typical Navy and Army 2024 season in college football. But again, football this year has been a little weird on the NFL and the college football side. So elbow down. So yeah, it looks like he'll be down at like the 1 there. Nice QB draw. And again, did you see how fast Horvath made the decision? Hiked it, and didn't really have to dance around, made that decision, off that design play, and you have to act quickly because obviously Army will close very fast with their defense, first and goal, and it's almost 100% guarantee that they will punch it in. It's just a matter of, is it going to be the quarterback, Horvath, or one of the running backs? Horvath, touchdown, Navy. There you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Nice double effort. He jumped once, jumped twice, got pushed in, and a great effort there by Navy and the Midshipmen. Touchdown, Blake Horvath. Nice job. Yeah, I'm going to watch that later tonight as well. Again, they're just trying to be able to get more people to buy in to the WWE product. And, of course, if they're going to end up having a show for the first time in a long time for main event on Saturday, they're going to have good matches, just like, and good appearances, just like when it goes to Netflix on that very first Raw. It's going to be something big. It's not going to just be a regular show. They have to make sure that they stand out. So that way, you come back and watch Raw again, or you watch main event on the next Saturday. Extra point is up and good. 7-0 Navy. Good start. Fourteenth rushing touchdown by Horvath. Let's go. Good start. Especially, it's not going to be a punt party like we ended up seeing with the Rams and Niners. That might have been one of the worst games I've seen all year. A lot of people's fantasies got absolutely ruined, based off the rain and just the shitty performance in that game. But again, we don't have to worry about that here today. It doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a punt party, especially when you can't really stop either quarterback running the football. 7-0 Navy. Let's go, baby. And even though Zini is not in the room, I assume, let's make sure we give her some love for spreading some holiday cheer and making sure that we start off on a good note, on this particular Army-Navy matchup. She's a big Eagles fan. She's favored to win the Fantasy League this year. It's going to be more than likely between her and Reflect in the championship, which I predicted. Shep and obviously Double E are going to have a shot, but based on what happened, obviously in that Niners and Rams game, it definitely set the tone. But shout out to Zini, a fantasy guru and a good participant and good, member here of the NWSF. We love you. We appreciate you. And thank you for the support. Again, I didn't really know what we were going to end up getting. This is a noon start for me here in Oregon. Obviously, it's 2:30 in the Midwest, 3:30 on the East Coast. And again, she's going to have a good one to watch when the Eagles host the Steelers tomorrow, which I definitely will be watching every single minute of that game, as well as the Bills visiting the Detroit Lions. Too bad we don't get any of those on Monday night, as an option for flexing. But again, it should be very, very interesting. Appreciate you, Zini. We're at 30, 70 to go. I mean, she can be, but it's really a matter of who's going to be here often. You know, and she works a lot, so. But she's always going to show support regardless of designation to the channel. So 7-0 Navy, great start here. I wanted to make sure that we, had some good football to watch. We've got some wrestling later today, and then if you're looking to watch something really nice to add, to your TV bucket list, Dexter, Original Sin. I was a little skeptical, on the actors that they had in that particular show, even though they had, Dexter narrating, but they obviously go back in time to when he was younger to kind of learn the code. And I was pleasantly shocked. They're doing an episode every week, and I had to do the, Showtime add-on on, obviously Hulu. They have a week trial that ends up being free, and then it's like $12 a month or something of that nature. But very, very good episode number 1, and I highly recommend if you got the extra cash or if you have Showtime, watch it. You won't be disappointed if you're a Dexter fan. Handoff up the middle, there for Army, short game. Second down and 5 for Army. Yeah, and Kyle Tucker going to the Cubs, that was big. Instead of a team like the Yankees getting them. Quarterback right up the middle. Little design run there for Bryson Daly. Third down and 1. Daly with a 1-yard run. First down. Black Knights. Move the chains. We need one more like to be able to get to 10 and double digits, and hopefully we can get somewhere between 15 to 20 at some point. Nice first down. He had to work for it. Nice rush there by Daly to get that first. First down and 10, Army. But it's going to be, pretty busy here on the channel. There wasn't really anything worth doing yesterday besides Spurs Blazers. I watched it with Paisley, but, from here on out, we're not going to have a day off for a minute. So lots of college football, lots of NFL, and we're getting bowl games on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and those were kind of the days where we didn't have anything to do. So it's nice that we're filling up the rest of the schedule for December and January. Did he fumble? Almost fumbled there. Short gain. Yeah, Daly and Tebow. Games with 100-plus rushing yards, 10. Second down and 9 for the Black Knights. Keeper. Good defense there by Navy, collapsing the Midshipmen. They sniffed that one out. Good defense there by Navy. I mean, Bellinger ain't Juan Soto, but at least it's something. It's like Daly's hand is bleeding. He says, I don't give a fuck. Let me get out there. Shotgun set for Daly. But I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to pass. It just means he has more room to run. But he does throw it. Hail Mary. I don't know who that was to. Man, Daly can't throw worth a shit, can he? Man, he's a terrible thrower. I mean, no wonder they have to run the ball 99.9% of the time. This guy can't throw. I mean, he's a great runner. He's got great anticipation, but God, man, his spiral is whack. Army only has got 23 punts. Well, most teams can't stop their run game, but at least Navy's got to feel pretty good about that. I mean, if they can make them, fully one-dimensional, even though they know they are, running the ball 99.9% of the time. But if you can't even complete, a 10-yard pass and beyond, that really is going to hinder Army's ability to win this game, especially if Navy keeps bringing this energy. Because at least Navy can complete a pass for 5 to 10 yards. I don't know about Army, though. Daly doesn't look like he can throw. 7-0 Navy. And then we got Jackson State up 28-7 on SC State in the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Later today, we also got South Alabama and Western Michigan, but those don't really have the same type of feeling as this one. So, and then what time is the WWE? What time is that WWE special on Saturday night start? Five Pacific. Okay. I need to go grab a drink. Check up on my pup here real quick. All right, I'm back. Good start for Navy. Not so much there for Army. Again, 11-1 record. It's the best that they've been since 1958, but they don't look like the better team so far. But we'll find out. And it's not like Navy is a slouch either. They were in the top 25 earlier in the year. They ended up being 8-3. Can't treat them like they're a 3-8 team, and they legitimately have a chance to win this game. And it's bragging rights, right? Army and Navy every year. It may not be the most highly decorated matchup. A lot of times people may not care about this matchup as much, but this year to have one team that's in the top 25, which is wild. I'm trying to remember if any point in my life that Army has ever been ranked this late in the season, and I don't think so. I think this has been really the only time I can remember that Army has been this good. Navy up the middle, short game. Short game. Does he get stepped on? Oh, he got stepped on. Now that'll get the blood coming out if you get stepped on a cleat. Can't use that as an excuse that he can't throw the ball because he couldn't throw the ball prior to getting his hand stepped on. Little bouncing out to the outside, short game of 3 yards there by Navy. Heidenreich. All right, Eli, I see you. 3rd down and 2 on the Navy 32, 7-0 Midshipmen. Design run. 1st down, Navy. Move the chains. Blake Horvath hitting that hole, seeing it open up, taking advantage. 1st down, Midshipmen. Move the chains. Army better pray that Navy doesn't get a touchdown on this drive because they're going to be looking up all day if that's the case, if they get down 14-0. Man in motion. Snap is low. Uh-oh, fumble. Get that ball. Wow. That was a miscue, to say the least, and they're lucky that they got that football back. They tried to get a little bit too cute with the play call there. I mean, he went for the pitch, but, I mean, the running back has to know what's coming, and they definitely were not on the same page, but great recovery by Blake Horvath to recover that fumble. But that definitely was a pitch that was much wilder than it needed to be. It needed to have a little bit more touch on that halfback toss. 2nd down and 24, but at least it didn't lead to a turnover for Navy. Man in motion, handoff right up the middle, a little bit more a subtle, safer play. Get some positive yardage back. 3rd down and 16 on the Navy 32. Horvath run for 4 yards to the Navy 36. 4th down and 12. And you'll have Navy punt. I mean, it looks like the communication was, okay on that other previous play. It's just that he knew that he threw it too hard, and that's why he sprinted towards the sideline. Like, as soon as he threw it, he knew that he fucked up. And, the running back wasn't going to get that ball, but he ran exactly to where, he knew the ball was going to go based on throwing it too tough. And you got to have a little bit of touch there. All right, Navy with the punt. Yeah, should have caught that punt. Taking a peek at the news to see if there's anything else. Marshall is waiving their bowl appearance. Interesting. Interesting. Four-star quarterback Bryce Baker affirmed his commitment to North Carolina and Belichick. I mean, again, you're going to get some people that are going to go there, just to be able to learn from Belichick. And obviously, if Belichick is mentoring those guys and those guys end up staying there, they're going to have a good chance to go into the NFL, based on, Bill's reputation and whatnot. And just, I don't think anyone thinks they're going to be, a super team. But you would assume that they'll be better if he hires a good staff, around him, that they should be much more relevant than they were in years past. So it's still a little shock, for a guy that coaches that type of way. I'm not sure how that's going to relate to high school and college kids. I mean, hell, adults had a hard time dealing with it with Brady and company. How are college kids and high school kids going to accept it? That'll be something to see. Shotgun set. Floater going deep, got a man, incomplete. Bryson Daly, that throw, even though he got plummeted to the ground, that was actually the best throw that he's had all day. Even though it didn't complete, at least it was kind of a spiral on that particular throw. I mean, I knew that, Army was going to be a, pretty much all running team, but I didn't think that their passing ability would be this poor. It's like, it's one thing to have strategy to be able to run the football, and also have the ability to pass when you need it, but 4 receivers there, little screen pass. Pass was low, but at least it was caught. There you go. Give him an award. First completed pass by Bryson Daly for 4 yards, and he almost couldn't even get it to his receiver. Noah Short with a 4-yard gain, almost hits the turf, but at least it was grabbed with those gloves by Short to get some positive yardage. 3rd down and 6. But, at least it'll give us more of a reason to keep up with North Carolina. And if they end up, getting better, we might end up streaming them, at one point or another. So. Ooh, look at that. Almost hits the ground. Good hands. Yeah, you don't see too many teams running the diamond on either side. Are they trying to – they're trying to review if it was a completed pass? Oh, God. Really? It's funny how in college football, even the minor things they'll take a look at, but when it goes to the NFL, it'll be clearly like a face mask or some kind of bullshit call, and then they just don't even review it. They don't call it, and they just act like nothing happened. I mean, we do get missed calls on college, but not as many as on the NFL side. I mean, I'm all in for, reviewing plays. I don't think it's going to slow the game down enough to be like, oh my God, like what's going on here? You want to make sure you get the plays correct, but I'm not sure if that was really worth a look to see if that hit the ground or not. But it is what it is. It's better than them looking at something rather than, having a blatant, face mask or targeting, and then they just, brush it off like nothing happened. 3rd down and 5 on the Army 17. See if Daly can actually move the football. Shotgun set. Little flip. Navy is fast. And they stop him just short of the marker. 4th down and 1. Or 4th and inches. You got to go for it. I mean, you should be able to get a QB sneak to get you a yard. Little tush push, Army style. You need a half a yard, inches. I mean, you're down 7-0. The momentum is in Navy's favor. Your quarterback can't throw. again, all you can do is run. Might as well, obviously if you don't get it and the Navy gets a touchdown, you're down 14-0 or 10-0, not a good look. But, at some point, and I don't really like going for it on your side of the 50, but we're kind of winding down into the first quarter here. So we'll see how far it really is. And it shouldn't matter if it's half a yard or a yard. I mean, if you run 99% of the time and you have no confidence to get you a yard, I mean, what are we doing here today? I mean, there is risk, if you end up getting stuffed and then you give the ball up and then Navy scores and then you're down 14-0 and then maybe the game's over. I get it. There is risk involved. But again, for a team that only runs, fuck it. I mean, really, put your head down and push. They should be inches. Like, you got any confidence in that offensive line and the running back and the wide receiver and, tight ends, with a little bit of extra push, or you're going to play it safe and punt? All right, end of the first quarter as they mull it over to decide if they want to really have the first maybe game impacting, decision. Do they go for it? On their own 50, if they don't get the first down, Navy is in prime position to go up 10-0 or 14-0. And obviously, so far, Army has shown that, they cannot throw the football longer than a yard or two. So we'll see what happens here after the break. Bundle Ruski. Tell him, Andy Reid. Bundle Ruski do. What you know about that? How long is the WWE main event show tonight, Sarah? Is it an hour or is it 2 hours? I would assume it's only going to be an hour, for a main event show, but I could be wrong. Is it 2 hours? I know it's not 3 hours. They're not going to do main event longer than, like a SmackDown or, one of the other shows, which I ended up watching this morning. And SmackDown has been traditionally pretty good, like Monday Night Raw. As far as like Dynamite on the AEW side, it's still entertaining, but they just don't have a lot of the bigger names as WWE. But, still some of the matches can be entertaining, but they definitely have been losing the battle in the ratings, that's for sure. But I'm trying to watch as much of both as I can. So it might be 2 hours, right? Well, it's the first Saturday night, right? So for main event. But if you can figure out if it's 1 hour, is it 2 hours? Oh, okay. Like, if I knew that we had enough wrestling people to come through and watch, I would even consider doing a stream for it. But, I'm just going to do this one, watch that later tonight, and spend time with Paisley. And hopefully it ends up being a decent show, which I know it will be because, again, they're trying to promote it for the first time. They're not going to, have just a bunch of jobber matches, that aren't good. They're going to try to have it, be as entertaining as possible to get people to tune in. End of the first quarter, 7-0 Navy. Cody and KO. Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, even if there's no belts on the line, I mean, still, you just want to be able to see entertaining matchups. And I know they're bringing back a lot of the Hall of Famers and whatnot. Like, I saw a graphic that they're going to be bringing back guys from like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, like back in my era. So that's going to be kind of cool to be able to see those people that are either backstage or in the front row, where they're not going to necessarily interview them, but, they're in the front row or in the back watching. And you might get an interview or two out of some of those guys. Belts on the line. Oh, nice. Army and Navy service centers, they love it. 4th and inches, and they go for it, and they got it. And that's the right move. I mean, again, you don't really want to go for it that often, especially if you're in your own 50 and you're on like the 20-yard line, but based on the flow of this game and based on who you are, as a team, right? You run. That's what you do. If you can't even get, inches, what are we doing, right? And based on what we've seen so far, even though Army's got the better record and supposedly they're the better team, they don't look like it, And that's the inability of Daly to be able to throw the football, and hopefully he'll show that he can throw it more than, 2 yards here on this drive. Hand off up the middle. Good defense there by the Midshipmen. Damian Priest and Finn versus Gunther. Ooh, that'll be good. Yeah, and Chelsea Green. Yeah, I saw that those ladies ended up winning on SmackDown. And then Liv and Io. Nice. That's a pretty good card. I'll definitely be watching. I just can't wait for us to start doing like Monday Night Raw on Netflix, as a stream, like a watch party. I think that'll be definitely a fun thing to be able to add on to the channel. 2nd down and 11. Daly run for 3 yards to the Army 24, 3rd down and 8. Tried to do a little spin move. Where are you going? He tried to hit the spin cycle. Only got about half those clothes washed and then went down. 3rd down and 8. Yeah, Dexter Original Sin, man. Highly recommend. Very, very good. 10 episodes in that season. And then they have another Dexter that's going to be coming out in 2025, which is going to actually have Dexter in the show and narrate, kind of like the original. And then obviously like that second one where his son was heavily involved in that show. Man in motion. Daly on 3rd and 8. Hesitates. Intercepted. What a horrible throw right there. What are you looking at? What are you doing? And again, Army's inability to be able to throw the football by Bryson Daly. You need 3 rushing touchdowns to break the record out of Navy, but you got to be able to make a fucking pass. And that's one thing that, you want to make sure you have a guy at quarterback for Army that can actually throw the football, not just be a runner. At least be like a Tim Tebow where we can trust you to throw the football, not just run. But it was a double hesitation throw, and I don't know what that was. But right now, Navy is coming for this upset. I mean, he does get hit as he throws the football, but that's double coverage, and you don't even have the arm strength to get it there to the sideline. Come on, Bryson. You look like shit. That kind of reminded me of like it's a really, really bad like high school Pop Warner throw. Like, what are you doing, bud? All right, Navy, your turn. Terrible throw. And I knew that Daly was a little shaky at throwing the ball, but I didn't realize that he was this bad of decision-making, arm strength, and actually being able to throw the football. And again, I can't even believe that. I mean, obviously their schedule doesn't have a whole lot of really good opponents on it, but still, you got to give them credit to go 11-1, right? And just to be able to rush down everyone's throat. But I assume there had to be some opportunities, even against bad defenses where you had to throw the football. But I'm a little shocked on how bad Bryson is at throwing the football. And again, I kind of had a feeling that Navy was going to have a chance to win this game, even though they are underrated at 8-3. They were in the top 25 earlier, but they look like the more well-balanced team on offense and defense. And also they have a quarterback that can throw the football, which looks like that will be the deciding factor in this game here today. But I'm hoping, at this point, the only way Army is going to get back into this game is with a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, a special teams touchdown, and again, unless Navy's players get really tired or hurt on defense, I'm not really sure how they're going to get back into this game. And there's going to be some big, long rushes by both teams. But I mean, talk about one-dimensional. I knew they were going to be a running team, but no one told me that they were this shitty at passing. Come on, Army. Wake up. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. See if we can get to, we need one more like to get to 10. So if you're in the room and haven't done it yet, please do. There we go. Thank you so much. We're at 10. We want to try to get at least 10 more likes before the stream ends, and I think that's very doable. We're at 30, 70 to go on the Dono train. Shout out to my girl, Zini Panini, for showing the love. Jackson State 28, South Carolina State 7. And you already knew Jackson State was going to win that if you watched any of that this morning. You only had to watch like the first quarter and you could tell. He does get a little jam, late there to kind of slow the progress of the receiver, right? But again, if you don't have good route runners and you're just a running team, eventually it's going to come back to bite you. Horvath. Yeah. The pups love the treats and the new toys. That's for damn sure. Time of possession, 10:26 for Navy, 7:03 for Army. 5 first downs for Navy to 2 for Army. Second down and 5. He's looking for a target. Doesn't have one. Cuts back. Rumbling down the sideline. Good decision making, which we didn't really think to say for Army, but for Navy, they got it, baby. First down, Midshipmen. Yeah, I mean, that was my pick kind of going in. I know Matt was kind of thinking the same. It's like I don't get intimidated by records. It's like I just want to kind of feel the team out. Touchdown, Navy! Let's go. Yeah, this one might be over already. Look at this play action. Look at that play call. Beautiful touchdown, Midshipmen. Wow. Horvath pass complete to Brandon Chapman, 18 yards, and you could only dream to do that if you're on Army side. I don't think that they have the intelligence or the playmakers to even come up with a play that good. Wow. Extra point is up and good. 14-0 Navy. Wow. And that's how you make a team pay. And I guarantee Army is they're shitting themselves right now. They're in shock. But again, at some point or another, if you can't make throws like this, you're going to lose, because again, Navy's defense has shown that, if they know that the runs are coming, you can line up in, different formations, you can audible at the line and give you a different look. But if there is literally no threat for you to throw the ball, who are you fooling? You're not fooling anybody. You can run diamond, you can run trips left, man in motion. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be running the ball 99% of the time, you're not fooling anybody. And one team that did get fooled right there, that's Army. Black Knights, wake up. 14-0 Navy. Now, hopefully Army, can make this competitive. Hopefully they can make it a little bit more interesting and get on the board. But it kind of feels like, if Army doesn't get anything on special teams or defense, this one could get really, really ugly. Looking at the Jacob in the building. What's good? So Midshipmen also enjoyed the longest win streak in the series, 14 years in a row from 2002 to 2015. And then obviously Army won 21-17 in 2016. But Navy's biggest win came in 1973, 51-0. I don't think we're going to get that, but I mean, based on what we've seen so far, interesting. Starting from 2010, Navy 31, Army 17. 2011, Navy 27, Army 21. 2012, 17-13 Navy. 2013, Navy 34-7. 2014, Navy 17-10. 2015, Navy 21-17. And then in 2016, Army started a 3-game win streak, 21-17, 14-13, obviously, and then 2018 as well. And then in 2019, Navy came back and won 31-7. And then in the 2020s and beyond, 2020, Army 15, Navy 0. That's wild. 2021, Navy 17, Army 13. 2022, Army 20, Navy 17 in double overtime. I remember that one. And then last year, Army 17, Navy 11. So Navy is definitely looking for some payback. Happy early birthday, Jacob. And I don't know what amount of yelling is going to be able to cure Army's problems here. And that should be obviously, something that they look forward to in the future. You know, if you are going to run this type of offense, you got to make sure the quarterback can throw the ball as well as be a good athlete and run. Otherwise, you're going to end up playing this game against Navy again and maybe have your season spoiled. Little short game there by Daly, 3 yards to the Army 38. Yeah, let me know if there's anything worth going over, baseball-wise or just sport-wise. And shout out to Victor Wembanyama. You know, they came to Portland last night and ended up getting a victory. But Wembanyama, nice run, first down. Army, move the chains. But there was a little kid in the front row that just wanted a high five from Wemby. Wemby took his jersey off and gave it to him, and he does that pretty regularly. You know, that's going to be a lifelong fan of Wembanyama. He'll be arguing Wembanyama better than Jordan and Kobe when he gets older. That's for damn sure. But cool to be able to see someone so young that understands what it means to the little kids and the fans. Very cool. You don't see too many NBA players giving their jerseys away, especially phenoms like Wemby. Straight ahead. Tried to run a little triple option, but just ended up going right up the gut there. Udo, 3-yard gain. 2nd down and 7 on the 50. Daily loss of 1. 3rd down and 8 on the Army 49. Can't wait for baseball to get going. But I'm still having a lot of fun with football. You know, college football and the NFL. Great slate tomorrow. Bills, Lions, yes, please. Steelers, Eagles, yes, please. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly in a billion years. And obviously Sunday Night Football. Packers, Hawks. That's going to be great. 3 really good matchups. Good defense there by Navy. He said, sit down. Nice tackle there by Reed. Now, not breaking that tackle. Not breaking that one, Bryson. Udo run for 5 yards. 4th down and 3 to the Navy 46. And you would think, even if you are a, running team, it doesn't have to be the quarterback every time. You do assume you have some running backs that can actually run the damn ball too. But good defense there by Navy before that one got out of hand there by Udo. Fourth down and 3. Because they're stupid. And they don't have the personnel, to, like every other team, to run jet sweeps, bubble screens, and actually throw a pass longer than 5 yards. Whistle. Navy timeout. Yeah, Colts Broncos should be interesting, but it's going to come down to, is AR, going to have that connection with Downs, and can they put up points on one of the best defenses? That'll be an interesting thing. Is it going to be a turnover party in the Colts, or are they going to be able to hang around? And if they hang around, it could be interesting, in the second half for sure. But probably a little bit more on the line for the Broncos at this point than the Colts, right? The Colts aren't going to make the playoff, but the Broncos are in position to, be a wild card team like the Chargers, in that AFC West. So obviously it could be a trap game for Denver, but we'll see if Indy can, bring it this weekend. Hopefully they make it interesting. 14-0 Navy. I don't know. I mean, I watch so much, football, but again, I don't really, as far as this, I mean, for me, it's more just, watching the Big Ten, watching Oregon, and watching these, ranked teams. And obviously we have a lot of other conferences that have, people that needed to be shouted out and whatnot, but I don't think I really have, anything that I'm going to go out of my way for, 7:50 left here in the second quarter, 14-0 Navy. It's a comfort hire, trying to be able to bring someone back that had success there. Sometimes it could work. It really depends on the recruiting because, again, you have to be a good recruiter. And again, you have to have an aura, you have to have a vibe, you have to have a good staff. And it's not like West Virginia has really been that great. They've gone through, different eras, in the Pat White era, the Slayton era. They've had a few eras where they've had some, decent players, but I mean, they have, Geno Smith, but they haven't really been that relevant lately. So maybe that'll make them relevant again, just like Belichick going to North Carolina, maybe Rich Rod bringing a little bit of swag back to West Virginia. Fourth down and 3. Oh, look at this. Daly's going to throw. Can he complete a pass? And he does. Oh, my. They might have to give him points just for that. First down. Black Knights through the chains. Daily run for 5 yards to the Navy 23. Now it seems like they're trying to get a little bit of momentum here. And again, they're going to have to complete some throws if they have any chance of climbing back into this game. But nice to be able to see that Daly can complete at least one pass tonight. And then a decent run there up the gut for a 5-yard gain. Second down and 5 on the Navy 23. Touchdown, Army. There you go. All right, better late than never. Daly pass complete to Hayden Reed for 20. Like, just when we thought that he can't throw, then 2 really good throws on this drive, and now we actually have a game. Nice job. I was hoping it wasn't going to be one of those like 31-0 or 31-3 kind of games. Like, I'm glad that Army actually punched back. Thank God. And look, he looks like he's going to run it, and almost like a jump throw, like a Tim Tebow, right? He ends up getting the football, takes a couple steps forward, and then, all the defense gets flat-footed. Then he takes a step back, and then a little jump throw. Hayden Reed with a 23-yard tutty. Extra point is up and good. 14-7 Navy. There we go. That was a good play call. Just when we thought that maybe Army couldn't come up with a good play call. Brilliant play call right there. I'm going to take it. No, I'm not. Defense obviously gets caught. They bite. Looking all at the quarterback. They're all cluing, using their eyes. They get fooled. And the best part about it is the receiver actually caught the ball, right, and ended up getting into the end zone. There we go. Here we go. We got a game now. Just nowhere near the talent level as a Tim Tebow, but a very Tim Tebow-like type of throw right there. Obviously, one being a lefty and one being a righty, but it worked. Nice job by Bryson. 14-7 Navy. Thank God. I was about to say, if we don't get at least a touchdown out of Army before halftime, it's going to get ugly. Yeah, college football, again, and now we have the college football playoff on top of the bowl games. It's just funner. It's like I said, you get the players, it means something to them. Again, you get the band, you get the cheerleaders, you get, the coaches, the staff, fans of all ages, from kids to, obviously grandmas and grandpas. It's just a different type of vibe, if you're a fan of college football and if you actually go to games and, it's not like the NFL is terrible. But again, there's just been a few things on the NFL side that kind of irk us, and obviously the refereeing the games has definitely soured it for some of us, as well as fantasy football too. So the overall product, and it depends on the matchups, just like in college football. But again, this weekend got a couple must-see matchups, and obviously we know during the regular season in college, sometimes you'll have a ranked team going against an unranked team, and it's a blowout. But most of the time, college football to me is more entertaining than the NFL. But again, for like Bills Lions, that's going to be amazing. Steelers Eagles, that will be really, really good. Packers Seahawks, that'll be good. Nice little run there. Horvath run. 14-7 Navy. Second down and 5. Oh, baby, go, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Go. First down. Navy. Horvath. Move the chains. What a run. Oh, misdirection, right? And then he gave that defender that juke, right? Hit him with the skirt. And that could have been a gain of 2, but it ended up being a huge gain there. 11 rushes, 83 yards, and a tutty for Horvath. Oh, good defense there by Army. Black Knights bringing a missile on defense there. I mean, maybe if Army actually could put the names on the back of the jersey, they'd be playing better. Good defense there. But a great 37-yard run on the previous play by Horvath to get him in position again before halftime. Oh, it's wide open. Come on, guys. Oh, brutal. There literally was no player near him for like a billion yards. How do you not get the football to your receiver? Gosh. Come on, Horvath. My God. Yeah, but unfortunately getting Bellinger, or if they end up getting Walker, that's a huge downgrade from Soto. You know, it's not like the Yankees are going to make the World Series again. 3rd down and 13. Scrambling, gambling, Horvath, and throwing it towards the sideline. Incomplete. 4th down and 13, and who knows if these kickers can even make a field goal. It's not like you're going to get that many opportunities. Yeah, if you would have went across your body all the way on the other side of the field, could have been a big touchdown for Navy, but throwing across your body can lead to big pick sixes too. All right, let's see if we can actually make a field goal here. Oh, they're going for a punt. They're not even close enough. All right. They said, fuck it, we can't kick. There we go. Good special teams play. There by Navy. All right, Ruthman, I see you. All right, Riley. At least we're not at a 0-0 or a 3-0 or 3-3. First half has actually been a little underwhelming for Army, but again, better late than never, after the punt and after the pick, and then they finally got the touchdown. Thank God. Now let's see if they can end up tying this up. And then we really have a game. Daly, run right up the gut. Minimal gain. And we're at 30-70 to go. Oh, Staubach. All right, 2nd down and 5. Daly, 3-yard gain to the Army 15 or 16. Looks like 16. 3rd down and 2. We'll be streaming pretty much every day, starting with today, until next week. So we'll be very, very busy. Lots of football. 3rd down and 2. Daly again. 2-yard gain. 1st down. Black Knights. Move the chains. 1st down and 10. Tick, 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 tick. But gets, running for 2 to 5 yards at a time. You got a long ways to go. And unless you get a big gain ripped off, either on the ground by Daly, or if you actually can throw the ball, get a PI or complete a pass and get it a little bit closer past the 50. Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, and kind of a little shocking that they don't go to the running back. Do they have no confidence in any of their running backs? Good catch there. We got the 2-minute timeout, 2-minute warning. Wow. What a catch. I mean that throw was like 110 miles an hour, and he had to go back and get it, but great hands there. Hand team 14-7 Navy. 2 minutes left here in the first half. Looks like AEW is trying to compete with WWE tonight. And Collision Winter is coming. Fletcher and Briscoe. Okada and Mortos. Hayter and Nightingale. Leo Rush and Action Andretti versus Top Flight. See, that's a problem with AEW. You know, they don't have enough stars. They don't have enough big names for people to be like, okay, let me tune in. It's like I mentioned before, I always loved watching AEW, but if you don't got Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, if you don't have Ospreay, if you don't have like the main, the top guys, wrestling every night or, every show, you're going to lose traction. And again, there are some decent names over there, but none of those matches are going to make me go out of my way to watch that over, WWE, even if it ends up being main event. So, I mean, they still have certain guys, like, anytime Ospreay's in a match, it's going to be must-see TV, just like Omega and the Young Bucks. But again, if some of those individuals are injured or, doing other things, it's, even on Dynamite, it's, not on the same level as it was. That is big facts. 14-7 Navy. Second down and 6. Let's see if they can keep moving the ball here. They still need quite a few yards to be able to get into field goal range. Daly run again for 2 yards. Third down and 4. I mean, at this pace, if they're just going to run the ball with the quarterback, it's going to take fucking 15 minutes for them to even get down there. They say it's a fumble. Navy's has the ball. Oh, it's a fumble. Uh-oh. It's a fumble. Oh, my. Oh, my. Who recovered, though? I mean, Navy had the football. Let's look again. But he does punch the football out right before the knee comes out. I mean, literally a split second before that knee touches the ground, that ball comes out. Yeah, he was not down. That is a fumble. But then who ends up recovering it here? Does it? Look, it's like right underneath him. And then he does recover it. Oh, wow. It's like, no, he doesn't even try. It just lands right in his stomach after being popped out. What a lucky son of a bitch, Bryson Daly. I guess it's, I guess it pays to be lucky. And obviously Collision, being their B show, compared to like Dynamite, it's not going to be as good, but the roster is nowhere near what it needs to be. All right, third down Army, third down and 4. Who's worth watching in TNA? I don't watch TNA. False start. Unbelievable. We haven't had too many penalties. It hasn't really been a penalty party today, but crucial penalty after the fumble. Daly pass incomplete to Cam Shore. 4th down, and obviously it's going to lead to a punt. We'll see if Navy can get into position to get a little bit more added onto the scoreboard before halftime. Yeah, Dolphins still champ. I remember when they ended up giving him the belt and whatnot. That throw was way too high. Army trying to get a PI call. No way in hell there. Duhart with the nice coverage there for Navy. All right, you got 1:37 left. What can you do here, Navy? Army with the punt. But based on the flow of the game, it looks like potentially, the losing team might not be able to get over 17. I don't even know how the hell Army's going to get 10 more points in this game, but at some point or another, something's got to give. And then this will be the only stream here for today. And then tomorrow we'll end up doing Packers and Hawks for Sunday Night Football. And depending on how Paisley is doing tomorrow, and if I have enough time to make the thumbnail, I might do the Bills and Lions tomorrow. I mean, I'm definitely watching it for sure. That's going to be on the screen, as well as Steelers and Eagles on at the same time in the afternoon slate. But we'll see if I have enough time to be able to do 2, or if we end up just doing Sunday Night Football. But I definitely will be watching very, very closely between Buffalo and Detroit, as well as Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. First down and 10. Horvath will play action fake, pump fake, and almost intercepted. What happened to my hand? Underthrown, and almost a big play for Army there. Pass incomplete to Chapman. I mean, those are 4 out of the 5 teams that we think that can win it all, or at least get to the Super Bowl, right? Lions, Eagles, right? And then obviously Chiefs, Bills, Steelers. That's it. There's only 5 teams that are going to be able to make that run. And even the Steelers are going to have a hard time, to get there. But we feel that they're better than like Minnesota as like the 3rd best team in the NFC. I think most people would take Pittsburgh over Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota's offense can be good at times with Darnold, and the defense is really what's been carrying them to that record. But I'm not sure if we trust Minnesota in the playoffs, though. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for an Army sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Had to get rid of that football, but that's better than getting a punt there. Big sack lunch by Army. I didn't know they had a defense. Oh, nice. We'll take Purdue safety. Yeah, and again, with Oregon's schedule being so soft next year, I mean, if we do win the Natty, this season, it might end up being back-to-back. Again, the Penn State on the road is going to be the hardest matchup of the year, but if we get past that, I mean, all the other matchups are going to be kind of cupcakes. So, I mean, definitely we're going to need a quarterback. I mean, we got Dante Moore, but you're going to want to have someone else to compete with him, and there'll probably be another transfer, another really good quarterback leaving, and Oregon could pick them up. But as long as we get the quarterback situated, whether it's Dante Moore and someone else, it's very realistic that Oregon could end up doing something special next year. I don't really like having an easy, soft schedule because potentially we're only going to have one or two top 25 wins unless some of those other teams get better in the offseason. But we can only play who's on the schedule. But I don't like not having Michigan or Ohio State on the schedule. Not at all. But you can only play who's on the schedule, right? 14-7 Navy. And there'll definitely be a lot more of flips, in the portal and whatnot, and people transferring to Oregon if we do win it all. We're on the cusp of kind of shaking up college football into the new powerhouse team on the West Coast. It kind of feels like we're turning into like Georgia, Alabama, and at some point or another, eventually when you're a really good team, you go from being like the fan favorite to the villain, like the Chiefs have been. I don't think necessarily we're going to be in that mode, but at some point, if Oregon keeps having success, we're going to be treated like the Chiefs are, except no Taylor Swift and no referee bullshit. What happened to my hands? Pass incomplete on 3rd down and 7. That would have been big there for Navy. Got to catch that. All right, Navy with a punt. Reithman comes in. Robinson with the fair catch there. 1st down and 10 on the Army 9, but you only got 25 seconds left, so maybe just kneel it and then say, fuck it, let's go into halftime. You don't want to get too cute here. You start running plays and you fumble or whatever, then it's free points for Navy. So I assume at this point you just kneel it, go into halftime, down 7. Daniel in the building. What's good? Definitely Army survived 100%. All right, we're at halftime, 14-7 Navy. I'm going to go check up on Paisley real quick, and I'll be back here in about a minute or two. So if you got to use the restroom, get a snack, go ahead and do that, and then hopefully we end up getting a decent second half, which I think we will. 14-7 Navy. All right, I'll be right back in about a minute or two. right, I'm back. Yeah, that's up to you, man. We're at halftime now. All right, let's take a look at a bit of a stat line here for Navy starting it off. Blake Horvath, 3 for 8, 55 yards, 1 touchdown and no pick, 14 carries, 98 yards, and a tutty on the ground with a long of 37. And then we'll go to Bryson Daly here. All right, and then for Bryson Daly on the other side, obviously throwing the football is not in his forte. 4 for 8, 50 yards, 1 tutty and 1 pick, but obviously with a little jump pass like Tebow-like to get them at least on the board. 12 carries for 30 yards. His long is only 5. So obviously Horvath is winning the battle not only through the air, but also on the ground. No picks for Horvath, 1 for Daly, and 98 rushing yards for Horvath to 30 for Daly. 14-7 Navy. Not maybe the most ideal school if you're a running back, wide receiver, or tight end to go to for either one of these schools. Let me see if there's anything worth watching besides WWE main event debuting on NBC tonight. On the NBA, you got Bucks Hawks, and right now, and then you got Rockets and Thunder if that floats your boat. And then on the NHL side, we got Oilers up 1-0 against the Vegas Golden Knights. The Devils, Odin's son will be happy, 1-4-1 over the Blackhawks. Kings 1-5-1 over the Rangers. 4-1 Wild over the Flyers. And then we got Penguins and Senators, Maple Leafs and Red Wings, Sabres and Capitals, Ducks and Blue Jackets, Canadiens and Jets, all at 4 o'clock. Blues and Stars at 5. Preds and Avalanche at 6. And then we got a few games on at 7. Panthers and Flames, Bruins and Canucks, Utah Hockey Club versus the Sharks, and then the Tampa Bay Lightning going against the Seattle Kraken later tonight. And I'll probably tune in and watch a little bit of the Kraken. But again, if they have Decord, we're going to win. 12-6. But if Grubauer's out there, it's a wild card, 3-8. So when Gru is in net, not a good look. But hopefully we can play tough. We're going to be ready for the third quarter here in just a couple minutes. Yeah, I wish there was more, on today that we could do, or if there was something a little bit more enticing than, Army Navy, but again, we have, let's take a look at the NFL schedule. So we'll do Packers and Hawks on Sunday night tomorrow. We'll do Bears and Vikings on Monday night. Even though there's going to be 2 games on, Falcons and Raiders are also on, but I think that Bears-Vikings will be more fun to watch. And then we'll go into college football, which we'll be looking at after the Vikings and the Bears. We'll do number 25 Memphis versus West Virginia in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl on Tuesday night at 6. Then we'll do California and UNLV on Wednesday at 6 as well for the Artists Bowl LA Bowl. Then Thursday, we'll have Thursday Night Football, which will be Broncos and Chargers. And then on Friday, that'll be Notre Dame and Indiana in the college football playoff, the very first game. That'll be must-see TV. And then on Saturday, SMU Penn State at 9 in the morning, Clemson and Texas on at 1, and then Tennessee, Ohio State, obviously, at 5. And we'll be doing that one for the stream. And then the following Sunday night after that will actually be my Buccaneers going against the Cowboys. Not ideal, but it is what it is. And then we got Saints Packers on Monday, December 23rd. Shout out to my friend Jake that I talked to on the phone. I haven't seen him in like 5 years. Sounds like he might be able to make a trip from Texas to visit me in around March or April or May, which was cool to be able to talk with him yesterday. But we are going to be really, really busy. Like I said, I don't really see us having a day off for a while, but that's a good thing. Again, normally I don't like taking 2 or 3 days off in a week, which we did this week with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. But again, it's just kind of that break, from college football, since we have the college football playoff. But luckily, we got the playoff and bowl games and the NFL, and that will hold us over for all of December, actually going into January. And then obviously January and February will still be a lot of that. And then once we get into March, then we'll, be dipping into college hoops, NBA a little, maybe NHL a little. And then obviously, we'll figure it out from there. And then obviously we get NASCAR back in February. Maybe I'll end up doing some NASCAR streams, especially if there isn't anything worthwhile doing on the NBA or the NHL side. I wouldn't mind doing something like that. And then before you know it, we'll be back into baseball in April. And then that'll hold us over until football by doing Mariners as well as some of your guys' favorite teams as well. So definitely excited about that. All right, 14-7. Halftime, Navy up by 7 against number 22 Army. We're going to get kickoff here in just a sec. Now, this has been an incredibly long halftime. I get it, Army, Navy, and whatnot, but man, get it going here. After this next commercial break, we'll be right back at it. Lake Horvath, Bryson Daly, let's go. We're just a few moments away from the second half kickoff, which might be one of the longest halftime periods that I've had to go through here on the college football side, but hopefully we will get this action started as soon as possible. So Louisiana Tech to replace Marshall in the poll against Army. Warriors acquiring Schroeder. Not really a whole lot going on. Man, they are just making this like as long as they possibly can, aren't they? I mean, this isn't the Super Bowl. Come on now, let's go. I love the military and all, right? But again, this is getting a little out of hand. Let's get this game going again. Let's go. It's like we didn't even have a halftime performance. Oh, best offensive line. I like that. Wow, look at that. That's very cool. What a cool looking award, you know, as far as the size of the players on the actual statue. Very cool to actually have all 5 of them on there like that. I mean, I don't get, you know, there's not too many of those, you know, obviously the Heisman, you know, trophy has that cool look with the pose, right? But to be able to have an award for the offensive lineman, very cool, because it's one of the most underappreciated, you know, position groups in football. If you don't got a good O-line, you don't got a good D-line, you are done. So pretty cool for them to be able to get that award. All right, let's start this third quarter. Let's go. All right, Army's getting the ball first, and again, it's going to be very crucial for them to be able to score within the first 3 drives here in the third quarter. Oh, decent return there to the Army 30-yard line. Okay, baby, here we go. All right, Bryson, show me. And 5th game this season with a rushing TD and a passing TD. But Bailey, you got to throw the ball, my guy. 134.5, 29 today. That ain't going to get it done. First down and 10. And an unbelievable run right up the gut by not a quarterback. First down, Black Knights through the change. Kanye Udo, 12-yard gain. First down, Army. It's wild that, you know, I get it if you want to be a run-first team, but I've never seen, you know, these run-first teams avoid the running back. I mean, I get it if you don't have anyone that can play that position, but I'm pretty sure that they have decent running backs on both teams. They just don't utilize them enough. First down and 10. Wow, back-to-back handoffs? What world am I living in? All right, Udo. Decent game there. Tell him, Jenny. 3-yard gain from Udo. Third down and 3 on the Army 49. And maybe that'll be the key for, Army getting back in the game if they actually hand the ball off to the running back instead of just, putting all that pressure on the QB to make the play every single time. 3rd down and 3. Udo, man, they're really going for that strategy, it looks like. 2-yard gain. Now it's 4th down and 1 on the Navy 49. You got to go for it. You might as well. Especially when you're right at the 50-yard line. I mean, if you want to be able to get back in this game, if you don't got confidence in your offensive line, who just won the award, right, for the best offensive line in the country, come on, man. Something's got to give. Udo breaking 3 tackles, but not enough. Wow. Daly pass incomplete. Why are you throwing the ball? And Army turns the ball over. This team, for an 11-1 team, they are coached very poorly. Unbelievable. You got the best offensive line in the country, based off the award. All you do is run the football 99% of the time, and then you throw the ball on 4th and 1, run a QB sneak, hand the ball off, run it yourself. Christ. No, there's a flag. Wow, they got lucky there. Unbelievable. Why the hell would you throw the ball in that situation? Flag on the play. I've never seen a team recognized, for having a great offensive line. All they do is run, and then they're like doubting themselves if they can run against Navy. Like, what? But they get the lucky PI call, automatic 1st down. And he obviously grabs him because he knew he was beat there. Didn't think that ball was actually coming out. He grabs him like 3 times. Yeah, definitely the correct call there. And maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they were just going for, the PI and the grab because they knew that would be not what they would be anticipating. 1st down and 10. Black Knights. Man in motion. Hand off up the middle. And Navy is there. Short game. Udo run for 4 yards to the Navy 25. Daly run for 5 yards to the Navy 25. 3rd down and 1. At least they're sprinkling in a little bit of Udo there. But pretty much all his rushing is coming from this half. They should have gave him the ball in the first half. Yard shy that 1st down marker. 3rd down and 1 to the Navy 25. Daly run for 1 yard. 1st down. Army. Now they're starting to get a little bit of momentum here. And it might be a 14-14 tie here in a moment. 85 yards on the ground, and they're averaging 314 for the season. Obviously playing a lot of weak opponents. We'll do that for you. 7 rushes, 0 passes, 47 yards. Tick, 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 tick. Pass complete to Hayden Reed for a yard. 2nd down and 9 to the Navy 23. They're trying to mix it up the best way that they can. I mean, at least it's not 0-0 or 3-3. So at least on that end, at least it's a game that's worth watching. But at this point, we're waiting for another score to get the kind of momentum going. 1st down and 10. We'll play action. Ooh, big hit. Williams with that big pop. On 2nd and long, Daly run for no gain to the Navy 23. 3rd down and 9. Nice job by Reed. Good defense there by Navy. 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. And on 3rd down and 9, pass incomplete by Daly to Noah Short. 4th and 9. Now I guess you have to bring out the kicker. Who knows if the kicker can even make this, but we haven't really seen an opportunity from the field goal kickers yet, and we'll find out if a kicker can make a field goal for either team. You know, that might come down to whoever wins this game, depending if Army can come back. And complete, trying to go for that surprise play towards the sideline. And field goal is up and good. So apparently you can make a field goal if you play for a military school. 14-10 Navy. All right, baby, your turn. Almost caught that ball on the sideline, but just couldn't come up with it on the previous play. $39-yarder. And is good. 14-10 Navy. All right, Navy, your turn. All right, Blake Horvath, your turn, baby. Let's go. All right, we need 8 more likes to be able to get to 20 for the goal. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Now we need 7 more. We're at 13. 7 more to go. We can definitely do that. And we're at 30, 70 to go on the Dono goal. 14-10, Navy. 8:15 left in the third. Let's go. And obviously the sun has set there on the East Coast. And we now have a night game. They're at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. Go, Bryant, go. Go, Bryant, go. Go, Bryant, go. Oh, down the sideline. Great return by Navy. First down, Midshipmen. Wow. Isaiah Bryant returned for 42 yards to the Navy 42. Maybe that'll be the juice that gets them going. No worries. Yeah, I'll be watching that very carefully. Rooting for the Hawks to beat the Packers for sure. Bills, Lions will be great. Steelers, Eagles will be great. There's some really good matchups tomorrow. And Bills, Lions could be a potential Super Bowl preview. Shotgun set, first down and 10. Horvath gets popped. Short game. Alex with a 3-yard gain. Third down and 4 to the Navy 48. Yeah, I mean, also it depends if Jair Alexander is going to be playing or not. But, I mean, it's a good opportunity for the whole country to watch. You know, you're on a 4-game win streak, and if you win that game, you know, you're obviously trying to keep first place over the Rams. And I don't really see either one of you guys losing that many games the rest of the way. But, you know, we'll see where it goes. But it definitely is a game that could be lost. But hopefully, you know, the fans are the loudest, you know, up to this point in the matchup on Sunday. You know, everyone's going to be watching. All the eyeballs are going to be on the Packers and the Hawks. And, again, you're probably only going to get one team that's going to win a playoff berth in the West and in the South. Hopefully it'll be the Hawks and the Buccaneers and respective divisions, but it could end up being the Rams and the Falcons. But again, you've got to get the job done, and hopefully you guys end up getting that dub. Oh, baby. Pass incomplete. No, it's complete, baby. 52 yards. Horvath. Unreich. Oh, my. Missed tackle. Down the sideline. The 30, the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Navy. Oh, my. And that's the big play that we knew was coming at some point in this game. Eli Heidenreich says, I want to win this for Navy. Midshipmen, but there is a flag on the play. Oh, my. What a missed tackle by Army. Big play for Navy. See if that was a taunt there with the spike. There we go. Extra point is up and good. 21-10 Navy. Nice job by Blake Horvath there. Not using his legs, but using his arm. And again, we knew at some point or another that these quarterbacks are going to have to use their arms at some point and be able to make some big plays. It can't just be run, 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 even though we've seen that a lot. Yeah, terrible call there. It's not like he's doing it as a taunt to the other player. That definitely should have been picked up flag-wise. Extra point is up and good. 21-10 Navy. There we go. All right, Army, your turn. And hopefully we can get something other than just run up the gut by Bryson Daly. You're going to be able to have to throw the ball at some point or another. But a huge missed tackle. Nobody there. And Eli says, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. 21-10 Midshipmen. Yeah, no Kenneth Walker III also too in that matchup, but Charbonnet is good enough to, you know, have a similar stat line, than Walker. Obviously, Walker playing would be great. Jair Alexander would be great if we could get a healthy, matchup for Packers and Hawks, but we'll see how it goes. But I imagine the crowd will be the loudest it's been with everything on the line, obviously here in December. All right, we got ourselves an interesting matchup here, and this is a must-score opportunity either on this drive or the next drive for Army. They got to get at least 3, preferably 6, to be able to have it be 21-17. But even if they get a field goal, that's still good. At this point with 6:34 left in the third, you just don't want it to get too far away from you. And again, right now, Army on the cusp of losing. Number 22 in the nation, down 11 with 6:34 left in the third. Very cool. Navy is obviously very excited after that touchdown. They got the team jumping up and down, trying to intimidate Army, and let's see if Army can answer back to make this a good second half with this particular matchup with Navy and Army and Navy going at it. All right, Navy with the kickoff. Army down by 11. They have to get points on the board. Good tackle. The last thing that you want right now for Army is a turnover, because if you end up getting a turnover and Navy scores, the game will probably be essentially over. There just probably won't be enough time, and it's not like Army's offense is really, blowing people out of the water. We know that, normally, when they play poor opponents, they can run for 300 yards, in a game average, over 300, right? But they're not going to get anywhere near that number here today. They'll be lucky to even get half of that before this game is over. Heidenreich and Navy history tied for first. Look at that. 6 touchdowns receiving is the most by any Navy player ever. Wow. Shows you how often they throw the ball. Not often. Maybe a little bit more often than Army, though. 4-yard game. Second down and 6. Short run of a loss of 2 to the Army 43. Third down and 8. Play calling needs to be much better for an 11-1 team, Army. And I get it, it's a military team and whatnot, but man, I just have seen so many questionable calls. But but you can only do the calls based on what you're comfortable with. And when a team is so one-dimensional, they can't run a lot of the plays that our favorite teams that we watch run. They don't have the players, or the plays to be able to run that. And again, it's not like you're going to be able to see a traditional offense. This is not a traditional offense, either of these teams. So that's what kind of makes it interesting, but also it kind of leaves something to be desired Where's the bubble screens? Where's the reverses? Where's the jet sweeps? Where's actually throwing the fucking football for first downs? And we've gotten some, decent big plays with the throw, but I think it's still leaving us with wanting more. And just running up the gut over and over and over, I don't know what they think that's going to accomplish. That's like, yeah, you've had a really good offensive line playing against bad teams, but now you're playing against a defense that actually is decent, and you're still doing the same shit. You need to, you got to adjust. You have to pivot. You just can't run halfback dives the whole game and think you're going to win. Come on now. Zini in the building. How are you? Thank you so much for your support. And again, we're still at 30, but obviously that's much better than being at a 0. And then we'll be streaming Packers and Hawks tomorrow night. So thank you so much for, obviously supporting the channel and supporting me and Paisley. I appreciate you very, very much. I threw up some Eagle photos for you because I didn't know if you were going to hop in this stream at all or if you were busy today. But I had a couple Jalen Hurts photos that I posted up here for you. But if there's anything that you want to see, photo-wise, Eagle-wise, with your big matchup against the Steelers, let me know, and I can throw it up for you. And I already had a feeling it was going to be you and Reflect in the championship in fantasy. Feel that is going to be the route. You will be favored. Reflect will be the underdog. You've scored the most points this year. He has the best record. But it really, will come down to, Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Chase Brown, since that's a third of your team. If they play well, you win. If they play average or bad, you lose. So that's really where it'll come down to. And I'm excited to be able to see if you can win it all. And obviously, Shep, you, and Reflect have all won the league. And again, Reflect won it last year. And again, if you were in our league last year, obviously you would have had a chance as well. So holding it down for the females. 21-10, Navy. I appreciate that. Some dono days are going to be better than others, but I really do appreciate you doing what you did, because honestly, if you didn't do what you did, there is a chance that we would still be at a 0 right now if we didn't get any love or support. So thank you so much. And the last thing that we want is to be at a 0 for any stream that I do. So, especially with all the hard work and effort and energy that I put into the thumbnails and the broadcast. So. Have you started any of your builds yet, Megan, on your Lego sets, or no? And they're going to need all the support that they can get there. Tomorrow's going to be fun. I can't wait. Saquon, sounds good. Yeah, but not just Cooper, both. Drafting 2 corners and hitting on both. Getting Vic Fangio. Seeing the Georgia players, live up to their draft, class and their rankings with Nakobe Dean and Jalen Carter. So, everything is coming together. And honestly, if we're being real, the only 2 teams in the NFC that can make the Super Bowl this year or win it is going to be the Lions and the Eagles. That's it. And then you got the Bills, right? The Chiefs and the Steelers as maybe a wild card. And that's it, in my opinion. You really only have 4 teams. And then if you want to throw that 5th team out there, I would go probably Pittsburgh, as that surprise sleeper team. But it really does feel like it's going to be Eagles or Lions, or Bills or Chiefs or Steelers in the Super Bowl this year. So. And we'll get some Saquons up here for you. But I'm not surprised, that you're in the playoffs and you had a good year. You've always drafted well. As soon as we kind of went over a strategy, you always pick rookies. And it seems like every year that you pick a rookie, right, they end up being one of the best in their position, right? Like when you ended up starting off with me and you drafted DK and Jetta and having a great lineup surrounding those two guys as rookies and ended up, having great success. And then obviously this year with Brock Bowers, and you ended up going heavy Bengals. And normally in a normal year, that might have not worked out, right? But it just so happens for a team that has a bad record, Burrow and Chase Brown are playing great. It's just that the defense stinks. So you actually really lucked out with the Burrow-Chase combo. It's normally, if you end up only having a couple wins and a shitload of losses, typically the numbers aren't going to be good for them either. And, defense is bad, offense is bad. But in your case, you lucked out, and all those Bengal players are playing well. They're playing great. It's just that the defense stinks, and they don't have a good record. And most people that have the numbers like Burrow, almost every single quarterback that has had numbers like Burrow has gone 12-4 or better when we had a 16-game schedule. So it's definitely kind of a weird year, but you definitely took advantage of it completely. Flag on the play. They're going over the review right now, so I'll throw in some Saquons here. Saquon obviously makes a huge difference with the team as well. Really the only team I feel that can beat the Lions to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. And the Eagles' defense is better than the Lions, and they have less injuries. So, it's just a matter of just putting your head down and, trying to get it done. And then obviously you have the other teams, Seattle, and obviously the Rams. You got the Falcons and the Bucks. You got the Vikings, the Packers, and the Commandos. And all those teams can end up making it, But again, there's a difference between being a Super Bowl contender and being a pretender and just being, a playoff team. Automatic first down. I appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks, little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you very much. $10 holla. Let me know what other photos you want, and I got you. I figured that's what you meant. But everything kind of coming together, for the Eagles. And again, we might get Eagles Chiefs. We could get Eagles Bills. Eagles, Steelers, and again, the Lions are still going to be kind of America's new team to root for. But at some point or another, if you play a team that's got a defense and an offense like yours, but maybe the defense is better for Philly than Detroit with those injuries and whatnot, that could be the deciding difference on if the Lions make the Super Bowl or the Eagles. So, and both teams can win it all. Even if they play against the Chiefs have been winning, but barely. So this is the weakest Chief team. Hell, the Chiefs might not even make it to the Super Bowl. It might end up being like Buffalo, possibly. But again, Buffalo's defense is kind of non-existent. And if Buffalo's got to have to go to KC to make the Super Bowl in the AFC Championship game, they have proven that, they can play well, but not good enough to get past Kansas City. Maybe this is the year. All right, I got you. I'll just throw more Eagle stuff up for you. But I appreciate you very much. We're at 40, 60 to go to hit the goal. And everything from Zini today, I appreciate you. And again, it's funny too, because in the fantasy draft, it was either going to be me taking a chance on an all-athletic lineup, but it ended up being just the all-injured lineup with McCaffrey and AR and Cooper Kupp and Christian McCaffrey. I was going to pick Burrow. It was either him or AR, but I, was dumb and thought AR was going to be a good player this year. He was not. And you ended up picking Burrow right after me. And, in hindsight, obviously picking Burrow would have been the safe choice, which I should have done. But, I took a risk. It failed. it worked out great for you, and then you paired it up with Jamar, which was perfect, and got Chase Brown late in the year, which was a mistake by everyone else in the league for that to happen, and you've been taking advantage. And you still got other pieces like Zay, obviously Minnesota with a good defense most of the time. So, your team has played very, very consistent and well. And even though Reflect has got a better record, you scored the most points in the season, and you have more of a ceiling than any other team. You got players that can hit 30, 40, 50 more than anyone else that's in the playoffs. So it's just a matter of, do your players blow up, and do you score 150 to 200 points, or do you end up having kind of a struggling week? We'll have to wait and see, but you're definitely going to be playing Reflect in the championship. And that's what I predicted, obviously, even before the playoffs started. Second down and 7. Army threatening. Daly run for 4 yards, but just running up the gut can only get you so far. Third down and 3 on the Navy 21. Yeah, well, both of your guys' teams are so good, and it's like you can't make any mistakes whatsoever. You got to make sure you're not leaving any points on the bench, and again, you haven't had to really make a whole lot of moves on the wire because everyone has produced, and you really haven't had too many injuries besides Pacheco. But other than that, I mean, it really hasn't hurt you, and you did a great job, which I knew you would. Third down and 3. Udo run for 6 yards to the Navy 15. First down. Black Knights. Move the chains. Short run for a yard to the Navy 14. Second down and 9 as we're winding down this third quarter. Yeah, unfortunately, I got everyone's best effort all year. Good teams, middle of the pack teams, even bad teams put up their best performance of the year against me, which stunk, but again, too many, bad things that happened to me. So I definitely have to step away next year for my own mental health. But it's not like due to lack of trying. I made almost 200 moves, which is a hell of a lot more than anyone else in the league. But, for me to have that many moves made to only win 4 or 5 games is ridiculous, but that's where we're at. But even if I were to make the playoffs, it's not like I was going to have any chance against Zenio or Reflect this year. You guys' teams are just too good. I'll squeak in a few more Eagle photos. One of my faves on the channel. Appreciate you. But again, adding, the offensive player of the year and Saquon Barkley, best running back in the league besides Derrick Henry this year. That's a huge, huge upgrade with Jalen Hurts and the tush push, even though Kelsey retired, right? And then the big difference is really Vic Fangio and the defense. Again, getting a defensive coordinator to get that defense back to where we knew they could be, right? Instead of having guys getting hired and fired during the middle of the season and playing great for, the first 10 games and then just hitting a wall and shitting the bed the rest of the year and still making the playoffs and losing to the Bucs. But again, the team was not good last year. And then for them to draft really, really well, and that's one thing Howie is known for, that team never misses on draft picks, or very rarely. And to be able to go with Mitchell as well as Cooper DeJean, it worked out fantastic for you guys. And again, it could end up being Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. Either them or the Detroit Lions. But the thing is, if the Eagles are going to be able to beat Detroit, not only do they got to play great defense, Saquon's going to have to be more than likely the best player on the field. And that is possible. You got Montgomery and you got Gibbs, right? But you're going to have one of those games where Saquon's going to have probably over 100 yards and preferably 2 or 3 touchdowns. Two on the ground, 1 in the air, or something of that nature. 1 on the ground, 1 in the air, but he's going to have to make a significant difference out there. And then obviously Jalen's going to have to outperform Jared Goff, which we know that could happen too. So, but it's definitely going to be must-see TV as we wind down to the rest of the regular season as well as the playoffs. But, I mean, if you're an Eagle fan, I mean, you got to be very disappointed on how things finished last year, but based on the drafting, Vic Fangio, great defensive coordinator, great history, and getting Saquon, I mean, you couldn't be any more thrilled of how Philadelphia is looking not only this year, but moving forward. Like, you know, we know the Detroit Lions are the great story of the NFL, the lovable loser that was bad, and now has become good with Dan Campbell. But again, defense wins games, defense wins championships, and that might be the only team in the NFC, the Eagles, that could beat Detroit. You know, it's going to be one of those two teams in the Super Bowl. And then again, it's going to be Chiefs, Bills, or Steelers on the other side. And even saying Steelers feels kind of weird to me because I don't know if they would be able to beat Buffalo or KC in the playoffs. But the way that Russ has been playing, and obviously with Pickens and Najee and Warren, as well as TJ Watt on the other side, it seems like that team is a little bit better, Pittsburgh, than the Denver Broncos, then the Chargers, then the Ravens, then the Texans. It feels like all those other teams are kind of like Seattle and Tampa Bay and Minnesota and the Commandos. They're good, but there's a couple teams that are a little bit better. So just like in our fantasy league, we got teams that are okay and good, but obviously reflecting Zini at the very top. You're just like me. We love defense more than offense, so. Yeah, and obviously if Detroit has to come to Philly, that won't be a good look. You know, I think Detroit would be able to play decent, you know, even in cold weather since they play in the Dome. But if Philadelphia ends up, you know, getting the 1 seed and they end up having home field, it's going to be much harder for Detroit to win in Philly rather than Philly to win in Detroit. Philly can win anywhere, and that's one bonus of being a cold weather team, that if you have to play in cold weather at home and away, it doesn't matter. But if you're a Dome team or a warm weather team, you know, again, Tampa has really been the only team to be able to go in Philly and win, you know, from back in the day in our Super Bowl run. So it's not an easy thing to win in Philadelphia in December or January. 2nd down and 9. Army is threatening to make this a game here in the 4th quarter. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're at 40, 60 to go. 2nd down and 9. Wide open. Incomplete. Get you a quarterback that can actually make a throw. Unbelievable. How do you miss this? Bryson Daly looking like fucking Carson Daly on that throw. Golly. 21-10 Navy. Nice. And you travel too, so it's kind of cool that you end up working hard and saving enough money to try to at least watch your team play once a season if the funds are there. Third down and 9 at the Navy 14. Timeout Army. Let's see if I can pull up a few more photos here. But they're fun to watch, and it's nice that the defense actually exists, you know, because it was hard to be able to see a team that traditionally is pretty good at defense look terrible. And to be able to turn it around in 1 year says everything about that organization. Great show. Dexter, Original Sin. Highly recommend if you haven't watched the first episode. There's a stud. See, that's a great thing, you know, to be able to, you know, stay sober, you know, to be able to stay strong and, you know, spend the money, you know, in a positive way instead of, you know, getting on a bender, you know, and kind of going in a spiral. So proud of you. And it's always good to be able to spend money on yourself in a positive way, right? Agreed. I got to get Quinyon Mitchell on here too. Can't just do one and not the other. We got to do both. Cooper, Quinyon, studs. And again, especially in that conference, you have to have good corners and secondary. So. Third down and 9. You got to score. Daly passing complete to Noah Short. Now 4th down and 9. Take the points. Take the field goal. And field goal is up. And good. 21-13 Navy. Don't sleep on Vic. An intelligent mind goes a long, long ways in football. And for being an undersized player, Nakobe Dean has been flying around for Philly this season. I mean, he's been flying around every year he's been there. But, for an undersized, linebacker, again, flies around and has made a huge difference on that defense. Yeah, for Vic, it's too high, structured in light box, too high shells before the snap, two deep safeties lining up into too high shells. So. Fangio can run anything, 3-4, 5-2, all kinds of variations. It's just like, back in the day where we had like Jim Johnson and, Monty Kiffin and, when you ended up having a few of those really bright, defensive coordinator minds and whatnot. But when Jim Johnson was the defensive coordinator, when Monty Kiffin was, I mean, it was a special time. There was like 3 really big defensive coordinators at that time, and to go from Jim Johnson now to Fangio years later, I like what I'm seeing. 21-13 Navy. Yeah, that was wild. Just good position and put all his weight in there, and you're not going to see too many guys tackle him one-on-one and drive him into the ground. Definitely a play that I think every NFL fan will remember this season, especially as good as Derrick Henry has been. Him and Saquon have really led the charge for the running backs this year. All right, we're in the fourth quarter now, 21-13 Navy. Navy 8-3, top 25 team earlier in the year. Army 11-1, the best record they've had since 1958. 22 in the nation, but again, very one-dimensional. Can't really throw the ball that much. And we'll see if Navy can impose their will here and add on to this lead. Army needs a turnover desperately. Little read option there, almost like a triple option. 7-yard gain. Horvath, 2nd down and 3 on the Navy 32. Exactly. Got to stop the run or you got no chance. Audible at the line for Horvath. Navy with an 8-point lead. Horvath, blockers downfield. There you go. There you go. First down, Midshipmen. Move the chains. What else is going on with you, Zini? Anything else that new that you've ended up, anything new that you've acquired, like memorabilia from the Eagles or anything like that? Hopefully things have been good for you. First down and 10. Snap is low. Hands off. And runs into a wall of Black Knights and goes down. 2-yard gain for Alex. 2nd down and 8 on the Navy 44. Agreed. You bought a new Jalen jersey? Nice. What color? Did you go with like the green apple look, the Kelly green? Or did you go with white or black? What color did you go for? Second down and 8. Heidenreich run for a yard. Interesting to see him back there. 3rd down and 7. And Horvath run for a 2-yard gain to the Navy 47. 4th down and 5. And this will be kind of a critical point here. Do you just punt? Or do you try to put the pressure on Army's defense here? I would assume that you'll just punt. You're on the Navy 47. I mean, you could go for it, but not everyone's got to be Chip Kelly or Dan Campbell, right? You can rely on the defense, you would assume. Starter jackets, yeah. The midnight green, nice. Yeah, it's cool that like Homage has brought back some of the starter jackets. Either the full zip or the half zip. A lot of those I remember from when I was a kid. If you get an original one, like a throwback one, obviously those cost a lot more, but again, the quality is there, it's just if you can find like a used one that's in good shape for a decent price. But some of the old school starter jackets that are authentic from the 80s and 90s, they're going to run $300, $400, $500. But, the style of them are undefeated. 4th down and 5. And it's a fake. No way. Oh, my. And he fumbles it. Oh, he coughed it up, but I believe Navy recovered. Wow. And that was a time to run a fake. Right there at the 50-yard line. They get the first down, but he fumbles it as he's rumbling and a bumbling, but I believe Navy recovered. Wow. Good collection. Slay, Graham, Hertz, Kelsey, and Dawkins. Weapon X, baby. Even though Reggie White was, on the Packers and the Eagles, this is my favorite Philadelphia Eagle of all time. Weapon X. I know Zini loves Dawkins as well. He was a one of one. You ain't going to see another one of him. First down and 10 as Navy is threatening to try to, kind of put the nail in the coffin in this matchup. Horvath, sideline. He's got the yards. First down, Midshipmen. Move the chains, first and goal. And it kind of feels like if maybe gets a touchdown here, that might be it. First and goal. Defense wins games. Defense wins championships. Horvath. Keeper. Don't fumble it. Almost did. Down to the 1. Second and goal. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not going to be too many other names that you can put in that conversation. Dawkins, Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed, John Lynch, as far as like that old school generation. Ronnie Lott. Atwater was obviously a hard hitter, but I don't think Atwater, as far as hitting, we know that he was a hard hitter, like Lott, back in the day, but I feel like Polamalu and Ed Reed leading in for the touchdown by Horvath. Pushing. And down to the foot-yard line there. Good defense there by Army. Black Knights. Third and goal. But I think Dawkins' intensity is really what separated himself, Ed Reed, was just great. Polamalu was great. They were intelligent. Lynch, gave you that energy as well. But, as far as like Dawkins, he was like Ray Lewis at safety as far as like intensity. And that's what really separated him from everyone else. He was more intense than any other safety I've ever seen. So that's what I like. You want to talk shit, but then you can back it up and then you make everyone around you better. You hold everyone else to a higher standard. And that's what Weapon X did. Find you another one here during commercial break. We're at 40, 60 to go. There's a real one. And that visor was such a clean look for Philly. That was a part of the intimidation for sure. Well, you got to make sure you appreciate legends and icons when they're playing, because as soon as they're done, I mean, you're not going to see another one. There'll be other guys that are similar, but not Weapon X, not Ryan Dawkins. Hope you enjoyed those. You follow Zini anything else besides Philly? It's pretty much like Eagles, right? And I know you read a lot and you do a lot of the video games as well. Is there any other teams that you follow besides the Eagles? It's pretty much Eagles, right? Oh, yeah, his back is tweaked right there, and he gets bent around. Oh, yeah. Touchdown, Navy. Horvath with a 1-yard run tutty, and that might be the nail in the coffin. Yeah, well, especially with Burrow and Jamar Chase. They've been doing big things ever since they came into the league together from LSU. So, now if they could just get a defense one day, maybe we'll see them in the Super Bowl again. Diving leap there by Horvath. Touchdown, Navy. Yeah. Extra point is up and good. And Blake Horvath imposing his will for Navy, 28-13. Midshipmen. I don't think there's enough time for Bryson Daly to come back now. And Army won last year, so this is going to be bittersweet for Navy to be able to beat a team that was 11-1, best record Army has had since 1958. But they look a little bit like a fraud here today. Very one-dimensional, not only being able to run the ball, but, that is about it. Defense not there. Can't really pass the ball. Doesn't look like an 11-1 team to me. Yeah. Yeah. Plus, anytime that you end up popping in and, listening to the channel, you can learn a lot by just, paying attention to what goes on this channel on a daily basis. So, I mean, being from just like an Eagle fan and Eagle players, and now, you know exactly who all the good players are in the NFL. (28-13) Navy. I was hoping to see a little bit more out of Army, but Navy definitely putting in the nail in the coffin there. 28-13, there's still time. But again, it's like we haven't really seen a whole lot of turnovers in this game either to give you hope that Army could score quick, get a turnover, score again, and then maybe we can go to OT. But, just the way that they play so one-dimensional, that ain't going to happen here today. Go through the photos here. Sprinkle these in. appreciate the support. I know not everyone's going to care, about this particular matchup, but again, not a whole lot to do yesterday, so this was really the best thing to do besides maybe doing WWE main event, which is going to be on here in a couple hours. I'm going to take Paisley for a long walk, run, and then I'll end up watching that. And then we'll be live tomorrow for the Packers and the Seahawks. I definitely will be watching this game as well, though. The Eagles and the Steelers. Pittsburgh hasn't won in Philly in like a billion years. So we'll see that. And then obviously Bills and Lions will be must-see TV too. I appreciate you, Zini, holding it down for the Dono train. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us try to get to at least 20, if possible, on the likes. But it's been a little bit light today, so we're close. We're at 13, 14 right now. So if you are in the room and haven't done it yet, please do. We need 6 more to go. Maybe we can get to like 17 or 18 before the game is up, possibly. But all right, Army, your ball. Show me something. Yes, you can. I just try to, let people know, that you don't have to be biased. Like, we can appreciate our teams and players, but there's also, greatness out there on other teams, even on the rival teams in the division. And it's just nice to be able to appreciate the greatness wherever it's at. And not only will that carry over into talking about other teams and, actually knowing what you're talking about sport-wise, but also it transitions you into being a good fantasy player too. All right, 2nd down and 1 with 8:17 to go. And they're running out of time if they're just going to keep running the ball with the quarterback, Bryson Daly. 1st down, Army. Move the chains. But you're down 15, man. Just running, halfback dives and, quarterback, draws and design quarterback plays. I mean, you're not going to be – you could end up doing that and, marching your way down the field, but that could end up eating up 8 to 10 minutes of just one drive. They don't got time to do that. But again, they can't throw, so they have no choice. Little flip. And for a team that runs the football all the time, they're not very good at the RPO or the option or the triple option. It seems like every, option throw that they try to go to the quarterback, it's not clean. Sometimes you got to throw it with your left, sometimes you got to throw it with your right, but it's just not a clean delivery. Got an Army player down. Hopefully he's okay. Holiday games, a lot of them. We'll see what happens on Netflix, though. Pretty Small walking off the field. Less than 8 minutes to go. Unranked Navy up by 15 on Army, and kind of had a feeling that this could happen. The last thing that they need is a backup center in there after all the problems they've had. Second down and 13. Daly, scrambling, gambling, avoiding one sack lunch, throwing it as hard as he can, which is about 10 yards, and almost intercepted. Wow. Did that hit the ground or not? That might have been an interception off the deflection. Wow. I need to see a replay. I've never seen a quarterback that had a hard time throwing the football as Bryson Daly. It almost looks like a guy that shouldn't even be playing in college football. Like, this looks like a fourth-string high school quarterback type of thing. Wow. What an interception by Navy. And again, you're not going to see too many plays like that in this game. But again, if you were to guess who were to make the play, it definitely would be Navy. But I mean, you're throwing across your body, but you have no arm strength. I mean, hell, you can't even throw a 5 or 10 yard pass. What makes you think you can throw across your body, falling backwards, and that you're going to be able to get it to the receiver? Terrible. I mean, he might be a guy that can run the football, but I don't think I've seen a poorer performance throwing the football out of any quarterback that I've watched this season than Bryson Daly. Crazy that this team ended up being 11-1, but again, if you look at their schedule, you'll see why. Because if they ended up playing anybody that actually had a semi-good defense, like a Navy, there's no way in hell Army would be 11-1. Maybe like 6-5. Unbelievable. Yeah, but the thing is like with the Tyson fight and Paul, there was like, millions and millions of people watching, but as far as like Monday Night Raw being on Netflix, that first one, they might have some issues on that. And then obviously they have the Christmas games. And obviously, they're on kind of like early, so I feel that it probably won't really be that bad because a lot of the, people are going to be busy, right? They're going to, be opening gifts. They're going to be traveling. So, I mean, if you're going to have Netflix games on Christmas at like 9 and 1 and not in the evening, then, it probably won't buffer, or it might buffer minimal, But again, if they had games on prime time at like 5 on Christmas, which I was kind of, I want to be able to do a game on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I didn't get a chance to really celebrate Thanksgiving this year with my family, unfortunately, my dad being sick and my stepmom, but I will, and again, they have Chiefs Steelers at 10, Ravens and Texans at 1:30, but I'm not going to be able to do either one of those because I won't be home enough. And then the day after Christmas is Seahawks Bears, but I'm going to the Blazer game against the Jazz. I got really good seats with my bro Justin, so it'll be like one of the first years that I'm not able to do a Christmas game. But let's pray for Netflix and hopefully they can hold up. Yeah. Well, we already knew Navy was going to win after they scored that touchdown. And they've been in control of this game from beginning to end. Second down and 3, Horvath. Oh, baby, go, baby, go. Run, baby, go. 20, the 10, the 5. Oh, my. First down, Navy. And Blake Horvath actually looking like the better quarterback out of the two. Now we got some good seats. I usually don't go to too many Blazer games, but we got, like front row floor seats, kind of near the hoop and off to the side a little bit. So it's always good to be able to, spend some time with the bros and being able to hang out with my best friend Justin and, go to a game and whatnot. Kind of, I wish it was on like the day after so that way I could end up doing that football game the day after Christmas, but That's just the way that the schedule ends up playing out. We got an Army injury there. First down and 10, and Navy about to pour it on. And this game is going a lot longer than I thought it would be. 3 hours and 14 minutes. Well, I guess 3 hours and 3 hours or 3 hours and 30 minutes is pretty standard for college football or NFL. So, yeah, it'll be a good time. I think I'm probably more excited to be able to, give him some of my memorabilia. And I got plenty of memorabilia with cards and figures and posters and magazines and all kinds of collectible stuff. So, but as long as I get to see Klingon and Sharp play, that's what it's about. Touchdown, Navy, and this is a blowout. Heidenreich, 12-yard run for a tutty. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This has got to be pretty embarrassing for Army. Yes, I agree. Plus, me and my buddy haven't been this close before at a Blazer game together. So, he used to have like a partial season, season ticket, holder where it wouldn't be for every home game, but a pack of 10 games. And we would usually go to maybe 2 or 3 of them. But now, with the Blazers being so fucking bad, it's more of just kind of pick and choose when we want to go and whatnot. But we're going to make a day of it. So, we'll end up going to Ground Control, that 2-story arcade first. Then we'll end up going for, either some pizza or burgers or tacos or some, maybe some chicken, and going somewhere like that. And then we'll end up going to the Blazer game and seeing what they have available. I'll probably get something at the team store, like some limited edition of socks or something, or a headband, wristband, something that will remember that particular day of going to the game and whatnot. But, that's one thing that's really nice, that we can, do 2 or 3 things, even though we don't get to hang out that often, once a month, once every 2 months. But when we do, we're going to try to jam in there, as many cool things, as we can. Go to the arcade, eat some really good food, go to, a Blazer game or an event, and make kind of a day of it. So I look forward to that. And we usually will spend at least a couple hours at the arcade. It's not like we're going to be there for 30 minutes. We're going to try to beat, a game or two. So we'll be there for a couple hours, and I'm definitely excited for that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we got some pretty, a lot of good food carts, and, there's Nashville hot chicken places, there's, good places to eat all over downtown. And sometimes we even do the Voodoo Donut thing. But again, if we're going to be going to arcade food Blazer game, we probably won't do the Voodoo Donut after. But it's kind of a cool, place to hit up when you're down there, if you're only down there once in a while. Late pitch. Nice vision there by Navy. 3rd down and 13 to the Army 15. Chicky and Pete's, is that? I would assume that is that a chicken place, or is that going to be like a Philly cheesesteak place? I mean, getting a Philly cheesesteak in Philly is going to be undefeated. Just like, if you end up getting like a deep dish, original pizza from Chicago, and I haven't really been able to travel like a lot of other people have. It's pretty much I've been to, Oregon. I've lived here my whole life. Oregon, Washington, California, Japan a couple times when I was young. And then I've been to Illinois for business in Chicago for like a week. So I got to, taste all of the food. And I definitely, there's a reason why there's so many overweight people in Chicago. It's because their food tastes delicious and they give you insane portions for a cheap price. So it's really hard to be able to be skinny, when you end up having all this delicious foods with big, big portions for a cheap price. That's almost like, there's a reason why. But I'll tell you, man, I mean, it's hard to just have a couple bites or a couple nibbles when you're eating something as delicious as that. I remember the wings that I had in Chicago were amazing. The Mexican food that I had was pretty crazy. You get like a burrito the size of your head for like $4, $5. It's ridiculous. But the best was the authentic deep dish, pizza. We went to like 2 or 3 different authentic places, Gino's and a few others, and it was amazing. Like one piece of authentic deep dish is like 4 pieces of a regular pizza in your hometown, and so good. Oh, roast pork sandwich, provolone. That sounds good. Ooh, cheesy crab fry. Never had it. Sounds good though. .432 left, 3rd and 13. Yeah, Cam Ward, no chance. Dylan Gabriel, no chance. I mean, if Genty doesn't win the Heisman, and you get guys like Derrick Henry, Reggie Bush, and Mark Ingram that did, and Genty's numbers are a billion times better. Again, Travis Hunter and a guy to be able to play 2 positions is great, but the only answer is Genty based off his numbers. If Genty's numbers were lower, then yeah, Travis Hunter, but you can't have numbers that are so much better than everyone else. Even those 3 guys that won the Heisman with numbers much worse than Genty, like, pretty clear, who should end up winning the award. It's like Saquon could win the MVP, right? But Saquon's going to get Offensive Player of the Year, and maybe Josh Allen gets MVP. They always like to give it to the quarterback rather than the running back. And obviously Saquon is deserving of NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, but they typically aren't going to give the award to one guy. They'll give one award to one and another award to the other. But MVP typically goes to quarterback, not running back. And we'll see if the Heisman goes to the running back, Genty, or if they decide to give it to Travis Hunter. And honestly, if they do give it to Travis Hunter, I don't think anyone would really be like furious, but it's just like, almost it feels like both guys are deserving, but you can't have 2 guys win the Heisman, right? But if there was ever a year where 2 guys were deserving of the Heisman, it's actually this year. Hunter for what he does at wide receiver and corner, and obviously Genty and what he's been able to bring for Boise State in college football. So, but if I had to do the vote, I would definitely be voting for Genty because his numbers are better. Touchdowns, yards. Hell, he's got the most yards in college football, and he's got the most yak yards out of anybody. And he's even, if you take his yak yards after catch, he's number 2. And out of everyone else that's in there, even his yak yards are higher than everyone else. So, explain to me how he can't win it, but it might be a popularity contest, and we'll see if it ends up going to, Travis Hunter or not. But, both guys are going to be good in the NFL. That's for damn sure. But Genty is the correct choice. But if Hunter gets it, good for him. We haven't seen too many 2-way players, since like Charles Woodson to be able to do that as well. So I do. I remember Max. Yeah, I think if Hunter had higher numbers, more interceptions and touchdowns, and again, it's like being able to have like an insane, because it's like his offensive numbers are like wow, and then the defense is like good, but just the simple fact that he's playing defense and whatnot. But it's like I feel Field goal is up and good. I just feel like they needed to be beast on both. You know, if you're going to give the award over Genty, you can't just be good on offense and then have like pretty good numbers at D, and then that's going to be better than Genty. I don't think so. So we'll see. I'm getting hungry. I haven't had anything today. 3:45 left in the fourth. This one is definitely going on. 31-13, Navy. All right, last 3:45 left. And then WWE main event starts what? At 5 o'clock Pacific? Is that correct, Sarah? So once this game ends, I'm going to have to eat lunch, go for a long walk, and then get settled in for that. Yeah, that's exactly why, right? Yeah, if you did have a team, you know, like let's say Penn State, and then you followed them, then, you know, being an Eagle fan, that would make sense and whatnot. But I feel that it's going to be, you know, Texas and Oregon, and then Penn State and Georgia in the Final Four. But, yeah, I mean, if you don't have a college football team, then, yeah, I mean, it's hard to be able to get excited about college football if you don't really know the players or, you know, are very familiar with what's going on. So the more that you know, the more interested you're going to be in. So plus a lot of us that have, you know, enjoyed college football, we've enjoyed it since being little. And so it's not something that we've just, you know, inherited, you know, within the last couple of years. It's something that's been ingrained in us, you know, as little kids. And obviously now to be an adult. So, yeah. But they're far from the Joe Paterno days now. But yeah, but the scandal was bad. Intercepted. Yeah, Daly is the worst quarterback I think I've ever seen in my life. Wow. Like, this guy is terrible at throwing the football. Like, literally, I think that he would have a better chance completing the pass left-handed than he does right-handed. Like, I have never seen a quarterback suck this bad. I mean, he looks like a high school quarterback, and not a good one. Like third, fourth string high school quarterback. Terrible. I mean, he's just staring down his receiver, and it's like it takes like all his body and effort to throw the football. And it's not like he's a skinny guy; he's got muscles, right? But golly, that's terrible. Terrible throwing motion. Well, obviously, after watching this tape, it's very clear. You know, you're an 11-1, but it's kind of fugazi and fake. But you need to get a quarterback that can actually throw the football. Otherwise, you're going to get embarrassed like this again in the future. Loss on the play. Second down and 13 on the Army 40. Yeah, Army looks like, I mean, 8 for 17, 62 yards, 1 TD and 3 picks. And the TD was off a trick play that it was like, I'm going to run the ball. No, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to kind of jump Tebow throw it. So he wasn't even able to do a regular throw for a touchdown. It had to be kind of a trick play. So, but I just don't think I've ever seen a quarterback, you know, this highly rated and, you know, getting his team to this 11-1 record. And obviously they're a run-first team, and it shows, but I've never seen a quarterback struggle just to make a 5-yard pass like him, ever. But I guess there's a first for everything. Third down and 5. Heidenreich, 5 yards. First down, Navy. Move the chains. Two-minute warning. Captain in the building. What's good? Hell yeah, brother. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us try to get to 20 before this game ends. Need a couple more to get to 15, and we're at 40. 60 to go. He said my parlay. Are you ready for tomorrow? Packers, Hawks, Sunday night. That stream will be fun. And then I just got to decide if I, have time to do Bills and Lions. But again, if I end up doing two, I don't want to be exhausted for the Packers and the Hawks. So more than likely, I'll just probably watch, not only Red Zone, but I'll probably end up having two big screens up for the Steelers and Eagles on one side, and then I'll have the Bills and the Lions on the other. And then that'll give me time to spend time with Paisley and relax, and then we'll end up doing the Packers and the Hawks for Sunday Night Football tomorrow. Must-win game for Seattle. A nail in the coffin. This one was over a long time ago. Yeah, no Kenneth Walker III, like you were mentioning before, and he was out last week. But if Charbonnet can have a typical game, his stat line could be very similar to what Kenneth Walker III would be able to do. So if Charbonnet ends up getting one or two touchdowns and getting the 80 to 100 yards, I don't think anyone would be shocked. And that's just 80 to 100 yards on the ground. You might be able to get 20, 30, 40, 50 through the air, as a receiver too. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. A must-win game for Green Bay and a must-win game for Seattle, especially if they want to, stay on the top of the division over the Rams, because you're only going to get one team to make it, just like the Falcons and Bucks. I need to keep winning, right, to make sure that Atlanta doesn't get him, and you guys are in a little bit more of a stickier situation, because the Rams are playing better ball than the Falcons, and the Rams are playing better ball than the Bucks, and Seattle's playing better ball than the Bucks right now too. We don't have a defense anymore, so we'll see what happens, but it'll be very interesting tomorrow, bright and early, watching Red Zone and watching the morning games as well as the afternoon matchups too. And they're going for the kneel downs here as we're getting this clock to wind down. Yes, 100%. And that's the weakest part of the team, and hopefully one day they'll fix it. But Army won last year, so this is nice payback for Navy. And Army definitely got exploited here today with their quarterback. Another kneel down. Well, shout out to every single person that liked, sub, donated, commented, shared. Zini Panini was the MVP. Obviously, the only one to support here today, so I appreciate that. And again, tomorrow we'll be live for the Packers and the Hawks on Sunday Night Football. I appreciate you guys very, very much. And again, hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday evening. I'm going to go eat lunch, obviously take Paisley on a long walk, give her some lot of cuddles and snugs. And again, I'll be watching WWE Main Event, which will be on NBC here in about an hour and a half. Final score, Navy 31, Army 13 in a blowout. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for coming through and showing mad love here. I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much. Captain, Sarah, Matt, Zini Panini, obviously the MVP. Appreciate you very much for all your support. And I got one question for you. Well, you know, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, Sarah, Zini, Jacob, Captain, Matt, everyone. Love you. Appreciate you. And I am out. Guys.